Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Wow. Come on in, Panther fans. Have a seat on the therapy couch as the longest-running Panthers podcast delivers every Tuesday night live at 9 p.m. We've got a fantastic show despite the tumultuous nature or the downtrodden nature of Panther Nation in this season. But we've got a lot to bring to you tonight. In fact, tonight's show is titled "A Wounded Carolina Panthers Await Atlanta Falcons Face-Off." The game is Thursday night. We'll be up here late doing a post-game show after the game with your calls. Also, we've got from everything tonight from who would you want to be the player coach, not named Luke Kuechly, that you would appoint if you were the owner of the Carolina Panthers. Where's that bird at? Robbie Anderson is missing in action, negative yards, and it's a blackout Thursday night, and the Panthers are giving away one mini black helmet to all of Panther Nation. I've got some things to say about that, and I hope they give out more. We're going to try to hook you up with all the latest news from the fan perspective and even touch on some of the firings that happened, still firing people. And as one person on Twitter, I laughed out loud that said, man, it's rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic as you fire these assistant coaches. But we've got that plus more. And Cody Lashney, my wheelman, I don't know how much you believe in the prophecy of dreams, but when we talk about the PrizePicks tonight, I had a dream last night, and me and CMC got into it.
Hey, man,
you're gonna hear all about it.
I hope you meant fighting.
Yeah.
You said getting into it.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I walked out like this, bro.
I want to know, bro. I don't know if I want to know.
Oh, no, I knocked his ass out. World champion, man, right here.
The Carolina Panthers got thumped last Sunday. And listen, man, we can sit around and sulk and feel sorry for ourselves. But damn it, that's not what we're going to do, man. We have to move on. We're going to talk about the postmortem of this matchup, what it means for the future, what we feel about this matchup with our division rival, Atlanta Falcons. There's so much to talk about tonight. But you already know we're going to do it with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You already know them and love them. It's our man Drew, Anthony Piccarello, Chris Mortensen, Dakota, Panther Pickle, Rockhead 81, Shane Reed, Smells Like Blue, Tim Estes, William Taylor, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number's 252-228-5098. We're taking your calls. We want to know who you would nominate as head coach, who was a former Carolina player or current player even, I'll even take, not named Luke Kuechly, because I feel like that's the easy one, right? We want to hear your thoughts on the rearranging of the deck chairs, what you are expecting of this blackout game. And CK, I'm sure a lot of people, when I say they're going to have a blackout Thursday, were wishing they would actually black it out on television. And kind of is that if you are the one person who doesn't have Amazon Prime these days, you don't have to watch it.
Right. I mean, so at this point in time, I mean, I don't even know what I'm going to be excited about with this game. The only thing I'm looking forward to with regard to this game is the fact that it was a good game last week, right? It ended up in overtime, and there were some
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I mean, sort of like 2 weeks, not quite. Yeah. And so there is some excitement with regard to seeing a game that's competitive to some degree, but outside of that, man, I'm sitting here looking at this schedule, and it's so weird how we went from like, just I don't see a single person on there that we can't beat, and now it's like I don't know if we can beat any of these guys. So it's a bit depressing, and honestly, I am absolutely afraid that we are going to absolutely look entirely to
just get blown out in the black uniforms. Yeah.
And in front of everybody. Like, I mean, it's just like, I don't even know. I think we're going to see the lowest rated Thursday night football game of any of these games that have come out so far this year.
You know, the weather is supposed to be frightful. I don't know where this storm front or whatever is coming in, but or at least I had my wife checking the weather when we were riding around today, and she said it was supposed to start raining around 9:00 here in Greenville. Obviously, the forecast is a couple of days out, and that's always destined to change. But they were talking about a lot of that rain on Friday. But here's the thing, folks, is that this is an important part. Somebody brought it up in the chat, is that the weather's supposed to be bad. This is going to be a ground and pound game. Interestingly, that's what the Atlanta Falcons want to do no matter what. Probably what we want to do regardless. Right. But we got to remember this when we're putting our fantasy lineups in, when we're making our prize picks, because if it's rainy and windy and after the game that PJ Walker had, you might not want to just necessarily be thinking that teams are going to be passing it all around. And heck, why would you even think that? Greg, strange occurrence that I saw someone bring up today in the news was one of the Panther reporters, I think it was Ellis. What is his first name? Or maybe that is for, gosh.
John Ellis.
John Ellis. No, not the not the one that does the clips all the time and stuff. He's a newer, I don't know. He might even be the guy that's on Jonathan Stewart's podcast. He was saying this is Baker Mayfield, no media availability. And when they asked why, no response from the team. Greg, right now, PJ Walker, who went from Witness the Walker Wonder, the Walker Stalker, to the Walker Witness the Walker Blunder, is set to start Thursday night.
Right.
Man, is Baker a little salty that his performance in that second half, Greg, didn't earn him the job back? Because he lost the job according to injury.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know, but he should be salty if he feels like he lost the job, because, and I get that he was playing behind the second string players there, but he wasn't the first drive. First drive of the second half was against starters. And yeah, they may have been up 35, but he drove down the field in the first. I don't know, man. The main point is it doesn't really matter. We don't have quarterback on this team, whether it be Baker Mayfield, whether it be Sam Darnold, whether it be PJ Walker, that is a good enough quarterback to run this team in the future. We have somebody who maybe can be a bridge or go in and fill the position until we get to the end of the season. And we've answered that question a number of times. We know this already. So it doesn't really matter. But as far as Baker Mayfield being salty about it, I'm not sure if he is or not, but I mean, he kind of has reason to be. Like I said, if he lost due to injury and he came back and blew the doors off of what PJ Walker did in the first half, then yeah, I feel like he kind of got wild.
In some ways, he did lose the job technically to injury, but he was playing so putridly bad at the moment.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
He was going to be benched probably anyway in some case. But we also have Sam Darnold being activated. Also, we'll be talking about Jeremy Chin, who is back into practice off, it looks like he's getting back to healthiness, but will not be playing. I think Steve Wilkes said that would be asinine. So there really is a lot to talk about, but here's what we need, Panther fans. Right now, only 58 people on the Tuesday night show, the flagship show. This kind of tells us something about the temperature of the Carolina Panthers, because we have been just doing numbers for the last year. Even in the off season, we have been kicking ass, and it's because we've got some great fans, and we're forming a great community together. We need your help, folks. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. Check out all the short form content we're putting out. Also, call into the show at 252-228-5098. Share the show. And don't forget, tonight's show is brought to you by Manscaped, the #1 company for men's grooming products, particularly below the belt products. And I tell you one thing, there's going to be a lot of players cut this offseason from this team. And the last thing you want to cut is your junk when you're trying to keep it clean, keep it fresh, and keep it nice for the ladies. You got to be ready at any moment, fellas, because your number could be called just like PJ Walker's number was called, just like Sam Darnold's number could be called, just like Terrace Marshall Jr.'s number has finally been called, and you want to be fresh and clean. Use Manscaped products. Use the promo code Panthers, and you get 20% off your order and free worldwide shipping. That's a special code for us, Panthers. You go to the Manscaped website, whatever you buy, whether it be the Lawnmower 4.0, which is their Cadillac product, whether it be the Crop Preserver, which is the top of the line product, folks. This right here is ball deodorant. Keeps you fresh and clean despite the weather, despite your circumstances, despite the hardship you encounter. You got to keep yourself fresh. One of my other favorite products, too, this beautiful leather toiletry bag that comes with the premium pack. This actually is the coolest one. Very masculine. I tell you this is that, men, I don't know if, especially if you're married and your wife does a lot of the packing and things for you guys when you go on a trip. My wife always is bitching and complaining that she's the only one that packs and this and that. But every time I pack something, put it in the bag, she's like, oh, you didn't arrange it right. You didn't, she's refold, whatever. This is the one thing. I always put all my toiletries in this bag. I stick it right in there. Perfect. Look cool. Feel cool. Manscaped, promo code Panthers. Help support us. Help the Panthers, the C3 Panthers podcast grow, man. We will be here regardless. Yes. We'll be here on Tuesday nights. We'll be here after the games. We'll be here on whenever, all the time, every time. Tomorrow night, we've got the beat check. Right now, we've got a Falcons writer from the Falcoholic joining us, and potentially Joe Person still trying to line him up and finalize that. So that's all the details. That's the deets. Let's talk Carolina Panthers this week. We'll start with this game on Thursday night, the blackout game, the one we wished they would actually black out. Ugh. Here's the big news right here, folks. Are we cool with P.J. Walker being named the starting quarterback against the Atlanta Falcons? This is the story right now, is P.J. Walker, after a whopping, actually played the first half last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, down in passing situations. He was 3 for 10 with 9 yards. Yeah. He finished the game, I think, with 2 interceptions. He almost had as many interceptions as he had completions. He was benched after, they put in Baker Mayfield for the second half, and Baker Mayfield probably played arguably his best game of the season this year. Didn't make any mistakes, made his completions, didn't have the batted balls that he had. And now P.J. Walker is being brought back in to play the Atlanta Falcons, who he did have a very good game against a week and a half, and Baker Mayfield is unavailable for the media. Cody Lashney, is this the right move, and is there a story to Baker Mayfield's lack of availability to the media?
Well, Tony Dunn, let me answer you very simply. Yes, and yes. One, yes, this is the right move. And yes, there is a story to be told about this. Number one, look, I know that right now none of these quarterbacks inspire any kind of hope in Panther Nation. And that goes without saying, man. We have seen now both P.J. Walker, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Darnold at one point throughout their Panther career become interception machines, giving the ball over at a high clip. So it's understandable if you're looking at PJ's last performance and not feeling very confident. But the question that I pose to all of you is, what quarterback has been better for the Carolina Panthers than P.J. Walker? Yes, that last performance was not very good. I understand that completely. But right now, especially against the Atlanta Falcons, we have one quarterback that is proven to be able to do more damage than any of the other ones. Now, number two, you said, is there a story there? Absolutely there is, man. Baker Mayfield is big time upset, big time hurt, really hurt. He feels that this is his last opportunity to audition for a starting quarterback job in the NFL. And now Steve Wilkes is going to go with P.J. Walker over him and not give him that opportunity that he came here to Carolina for. Right. I know he's a little bit upset, but frankly, I don't know what argument on earth makes you put Baker Mayfield on the field over Sam Darnold when Baker Mayfield as a
Wait,
starter,
over Sam Darnold or PJ Walker?
Over PJ Walker has never proven to be able to put an offense on the field that is at all competent at all.
What about last week and his performance last week? Did you not see any glimmers of like the Baker that we thought we were getting last week?
No, I mean, listen, he came in, provided a spark. Kudos to him. But remember that we're playing against the Bengals backups at this point. They're pulling starters. They're playing.
Not in the beginning of the third quarter, they weren't.
I'm just saying, man. Listen, as the game moved on, we put up the most points when the Bengals knew that the game was over, man, and the game was over. So I'm not gonna say, oh, all of a sudden Baker is now able to do something that PJ Walker doesn't or can't. I'm sorry, that's not the truth for me.
Have we really seen a lot from Baker? I mean, from PJ, Greg, other than the Atlanta Falcons game and the crazy pass? And I guess you could say he played well against Tampa Bay also.
He really didn't. He didn't play great against Tampa Bay. He played like a Baker Mayfield type game. And I'll counter your point there, Cody, with you're right. Like there's nothing that like screams that Baker Mayfield is the guy, but there's more evidence that shows Baker Mayfield is the guy based on at least what happened last week than there is to say, let's change it back to PJ. PJ had the one good game, and you're right. Baker played against backups last week for most part in the second quarter. PJ played against backups the entire game against Atlanta. They were on their third string DBs, and they're still not a very good team. So he played, and if you look at every other game in PJ's career, he's put up Baker numbers or less, and most of the time less. Even in the Tampa Bay game, he only had like 178 passing yards. He was efficient, and he didn't turn the ball over, but he didn't have a great game. I think there were 3 rushing touchdowns. So, I mean, and the defense played outstanding, 21-3. So, I mean, there's nothing. Well, I don't think that it's the right decision to do this. It's also not wrong because nobody on the team is really like has really earned the job. It doesn't really matter at this point. But I can see why Baker gets upset, because if it's a matter of earning, him and Sam Darnold have done more than PJ has in their games, but Sam Darnold's been the best so far. If you really sit down and look at the stats and the wins and the games played, Sam Darnold's been the best.
But my question is, what has? Okay, yes, at the start of last year, Sam did well, but what has Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold done better than PJ Walker?
What has PJ Walker done better than them? He looked way better. One good game.
Dude,
he looked way better.
DJ Moore is an actual factor in our offense with PJ Walker at quarterback. And by the way, now that you don't have a Christian McCaffrey, now that you don't have that safety valve for guys like Baker and Sam that are kind of tepid to push the ball downfield at times, I don't know, man. I just feel like PJ Walker is still the hot hand.
I'm just saying,
they started earlier under Matt Rule, but Matt Rule is a moron. Those were 2 Matt Rule picks. Granted, PJ Walker was as well. He also went to Temple. But in my mind, from a physical perspective, PJ Walker is just the better player right now. But again, I don't blame anyone. I do not blame anyone for feeling one way or the other, man. Because, dude,
tallest short person.
Yeah, man. None of these guys are a market improvement over the other one. So
here's the real story, CK. We're missing one part of the puzzle. If Baker Mayfield plays more than 70% of the snaps, the pick that goes from the Cleveland Browns from a 5th turns to a 4th. And right now, he has missed time. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why even allocate more draft assets to a failed experiment, period? None of these guys are going to be with us. Who cares if any of them and all of them suck? Who cares about his feelings? PJ Walker right now, if anything, is just probably got the most reps with the ones in the last couple of weeks and is just ready on a short week.
Right. No, I agree. I think but I'm looking at it from the other perspective. We looked better as an offense with PJ Walker under center. You can look at his numbers, but as a whole, as an offense, we looked way better with PJ Walker.
I agree.
That's in passing game, getting the like. You can talk about his numbers, but his numbers are far better than what Sam Darnold was putting up, or not Sam. I mean Baker Mayfield was putting up. But here's the thing: is Baker had 3 games to prove what he had, and he had 3 bad, not just bad, horrendous games, and PJ had 1. Like I don't think that doesn't make a lot of sense to me that he would lose an opportunity when Baker had 3 bad games to lose his job.
PJ started 3 games, didn't he?
Yeah,
and he lost his game halfway through the 3rd one. So I mean, he had more than 1. He started 3 games.
No, but he looked better in those 2 games than Baker did. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like
Baker had one decent half. That's all he's had.
I'm gonna compare the stats through their 3 games because I do want to see. This is interesting.
Baker was terrible, dude. He was horrific. And I think if anything that what I think is that PJ, while he was so putrid last week, he was just one of many putrid aspects of the team. Like, I almost don't even want to judge him entirely on that performance because, like, he should have probably been 6 of 10 for 30 yards with 2 picks. But it was like everything went bad. Everything went bad. And
drops, too. Can we mention that? Like, there were some good passes by PJ that were dropped. Again, I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but we had a bad performance up and down the field.
100%.
Well, I tell you one thing. Baker Mayfield might not be the only salty quarterback when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. But Cody Lashney, the man who dies on hills, who digs in regardless, has been probably the only warrior for Matt Corral being given a legitimate, authentic chance next year. And now people are starting to pick up on, and I'm not saying like, oh, they were listening to me. That's not what I'm saying. But like I told you guys, like from the beginning, that once he got hurt and then this stuff started going bad, he's going to be the baby with the bathwater. He's a casualty of war in the NFL. It's unfortunate, but with Matt Rule, we've seen too many quarterbacks go, or we've seen too many players who have just been associated with the old regime, right? We're going to talk about some coaches who are still being associated with the old regime. They're still being fired. All Matt Rule guys in a certain sense. But Jared Feinberg, I believe is his name, who I don't know. I think, who is he? Who is he?
Well, no, he actually writes for catcrave.com.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So he started tweeting a lot today in a thread about kind of the Cody Lashney position. It was almost like he channeled the Cody Lashney position and then responded to it and said, look, some people, he should have just said, I know Cody Lashney still wants to see Matt Corral start next year, but what has he shown to say he should? His preseason tape before the injury wasn't good. Can't keep going off his college film. It's going to be hard for him. And then he gets somehow, I guess the Cody Lashney minions started coming after Jared Feinberg here. And he said, I don't know why this is getting ratioed when it's a fair take on the situation, which I do think it is a fair take. But look at who is watching. Look at who is watching. Cody Lashney, tell us what's going on.
I mean, yeah, listen, a lot of people kind of took this a bunch of different ways, but one of the things that we all fail to realize is that in the year 2022, everyone has access to the internet, man. And anything that you're putting out there in the public sphere, on Twitter, on social media, inevitably gets seen by these players. And you might say something like this in passing, thinking that you're just talking to Panther fans, but Matt Corral saw it and liked it. This kind of tells me that your boy's looking for motivation. Listen, if you do any research on Matt Corral, this man is the ultimate underdog. All he has ever had to do as a quarterback is prove himself from the moment that he was in high school to college. Now he's going to have to do it again in the pros, man. To me, this is an example of Matt Corral not only showing that people are listening, or showing people that he is listening, but also saying, oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, you think you know a lot about me? Oh, you think those preseason games was a good indicator of who I am as a quarterback? Yeah, all right, bro, what's up? And by the way, I want to make sure I'm on record. Yo, Matt, I believe in you, bro. I believe in you, man. I'm the #1 fan, dude. Let's go. 9mm. Matt Corral. This fan has it, dude. He is a premier talent that we have not seen given a really good chance to be the starting quarterback in the Carolina Panthers. Now, whether or not he gets that chance, that's out of my control. That's out of his control. However, if given to him, oh, man, do not count this man out.
We need the listeners of the C3 Panthers podcast to start and keep this up. Telling Matt Corral that Cody Lashney has been saying this for months, for weeks and months. He is the warrior. And what we need is to not only get Matt Corral to know that Cody Lashney is the reason that these takes even exist. It's the real truth about this. He is the only person.
So
really, arguably, you are their leader. You're the leader of this group,
yeah, dude,
of this radical faction. But we need him to know. I'm not even saying when I'm joking. You're the only one. You're the one that has a platform that's been saying this.
I'm loud about my shit, dude.
Right, and you haven't budged. And we need Matt Corral not only to know this, but we need him to come on the C3 Panthers podcast this offseason.
Yeah, let's do it, Matt.
Let's wait till the transition. The guys are always going to be nervous to come on during the season, but we can grab them during the offseason. We need you guys to help us get Matt Corral on the C3 Panthers podcast. We'll clip these shorts. You guys are going to tag them. We're going to get this. Guys, there's other Panther players, though, who have been dealing with injury. Go ahead, Greg. You got a point on this?
Well, no, I had a point on the thing we had before. I was crunching some numbers. We were talking about the difference between PJ and Baker because it was interesting to me because I hadn't looked at those yet. I just kind of roughly looked at them. I wanted to see. It's surprising, y'all. So Baker through his first 3 games had 473 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 54% completion rate. PJ through his first 3 games had 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 53.5% completion rate. So they're almost identical stats through.
I
3
can't.
games.
I'm sorry.
I'm just telling you.
Greg, I know the stats may show that.
Lie.
The stats are 100% misleading in this, without question. Because in one of those games, we took over the game in rushing. And unfortunately, what PJ was able to do was in the second half, he turned it on. He basically won the game outside of a kicker fiasco, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he came in and he did a tremendous job in doing that. And when you talk about what I saw with PJ is, number one, he was way more accurate. He didn't have nearly as many batted balls. And he had a better arm than what we see from Baker Mayfield all year. This offense looked way better as a functioning unit under PJ Walker than it ever did in the first 3 games or 4 games, whatever it was, of Baker Mayfield. And I think what you have to do is you have to take into account, what was that 4th game that he got injured?
Who?
Baker?
I think it was later than that.
Was it the 5th game?
No, I think it was 4 because number 5 was Los Angeles, and that's when PJ started.
Yeah. So,
Matt Rule was fired after week 4. Wow. Yeah. Was that? Yeah. Right.
And Greg, just to kind of add to CK's thing, look, whoever you like best, again, it's a big whatever burger at this point.
Right.
My thing to cap off what CK said, Greg, is if you're going to feel confident about one, I just feel like you have to be able to say without question that Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield bring something specific to the offense that PJ Walker is incapable of. And I don't think there's anything like that exists for those two.
Yeah.
And I can understand that point, but I think you have to say that for every one of them, because we say this now.
Sure.
If we go, I bet you if you go back and watch that week 1 game against Cleveland, because that was a long time ago, you'll think differently about Baker Mayfield, because we were.
He had a good fourth
game,
quarter that game.
And he looked good that game.
That was in the fourth quarter. He looked good.
Yeah,
he
had a good
fourth quarter.
The game with PJ where you were just talking about, we had the run support game. He had 178 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns given to him on the ground.
It does help. It does help.
Baker never had that.
It's all about that draft pick. Who cares? Who cares? It's about that draft pick.
I'm just trying to say that it doesn't, like what Cody's saying is right. There's nothing any one of them is shown to say that they go over they're better than the other one, but PJ hasn't either. And for him to be elevated, he has to have done something to say that this is the reason why I'm there. And he hasn't done anything to prove that. His track record.
I would say that Atlanta game. I think that Atlanta game was far better than any one game that Baker had.
That's more than anything that Sam or Baker.
Even the win against the Saints, Baker had nothing to do with that. That was our defense entirely.
Yeah.
They had a run back for a score, and like it was
same thing with the Tampa Bay game.
Did Baker do enough in the second half to?
That was not
21-3, and that wasn't the defense.
21-3, and there was 3 offensive touchdowns. Like
right,
this
but you stopped the other team from scoring at with 3 points.
Right, defense helped. I'm saying the defense helped, but when you look at that Saints game, the defense had everything to do with that win.
Yeah,
everything. You can't look at that game and point to one other offensive. Right. One offensive player that was a dominant player that actually contributed to that win. That was a horrendous offensive performance that happened. I remember after that game, we were like, man, that didn't really leave us feeling pretty confident about this team with winning that game.
Yeah, we really need to just be looking, I think at that 5th and 4th round draft pick is one thing when it comes to Baker. And then really the other thing is honestly, unless we find that somehow we think that this team is just sorely underperformed through whatever weeks we're at right now, and then last week was more of an anomaly, we have no reason to believe that at all. We need to not be winning. So we need to be putting in whoever is going to help us not win. But we also cannot lose as uncompetitively as we did last week, because that is just devastating to the fan base. When it comes to, though, injury, we have been dealing with a lot of injuries, and one of the probably more significant ones that has affected our defensive play. Look, the Carolina Panthers defense was pretty good through the first 6 weeks of the season. Over the last 2 weeks, they gave up like 79 points or some crap like that. Jeremy Chin has been inactive. He's been on injured reserve because of a hamstring injury. He's back on the practice field, but today Steve Wilkes said he will not be playing on Thursday. That would be asinine to rush him in on a short week, which I think is a smart move. And I would say the only thing that's heartening about this picture is that's a fly helmet he's wearing.
It's a damn fly helmet. We're going to talk a little bit more about those helmets. But, I mean, no, just a simple question. Like, what kind of difference does Jeremy Chin make to this defense right now? Like, if any,
is it enough?
But that's what I'm saying. Can you make the case that maybe our defense has not looked as good because Jeremy Chin is our new Luke Kuechly? Not even comparing them as a player, but just saying that like our defense runs like a well-oiled machine when Jeremy Chin is
it's
out
better.
there
I wouldn't go well-oiled. I would just say it's better with him on the field. He is a playmaker.
I don't know that I would say that even, because when you look at our team when he was playing, we weren't like super dominant on defense. Our best defensive performance came on the back of him not being in there, like against Atlanta.
I don't know if I believe that.
I mean, not Atlanta, but against
I think our Saints game was a good defense. Yeah, the Brady one was a good defense, was a good game. But I think this is that I don't know if we have Jeremy Chin against Atlanta, we win maybe, because Kyle Pitts doesn't take that touchdown and run with it.
Right.
He's like a guy that's what he's there for in some ways. He makes us better. Look, let's not argue that. We're not better without him.
Right.
But I also believe this is that like, is this kind of like a leaky boat, right? And we got leaks all over the bottom in the hull. And yes, he would be a plug in one of the leaks, but there's just still more all over the place.
How much of our love for Jeremy Chin is based solely off of his rookie year?
None. Well, no. Well, I mean, a lot, but no, he's been good the whole time. He had a good sophomore year. It was just hard to live up to a year where he had 2 defensive touchdowns in one single game against Minnesota. Right. It's like you can't. It's like Jamar Chase is going to regress to the mean after a year like he had his rookie year. Like, It's impossible for him to have 1,700 yards every season with 12 touchdowns. Like, if he gets 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns this season, you'll be like, ugh.
Well, can I make a point here, too? If you remember back to the information, to the source that we had that we released, there were rumors that Jeremy Chin in his time here was very unhappy with the way that he had been played on defense. And that there was rumors that there was even a bit of a beef between him and Phil Snow. Basically, that they were making him be a jack of all trades and a master of none, knowing how sometimes he would play him at linebacker, sometimes as a strong safety, sometimes as a free safety. They really asked him to do a lot. And, this defense is so young, even considering Al Holcomb. Al Holcomb hasn't really even had Jeremy Chin at his disposal very much yet, if at all. So I do think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Panthers continue to implement Jeremy Chin going forward. But at the end of the day, like what Tony said, you are better having your best players on the field. And knowing that the Falcons are going to have Cordero Patterson back, man, it helps to have a player like Jeremy Chin.
I think CK raises a interesting and more reasonable question though than I would give it like on face value, right? It's like, I think the question is this, is like, are we just like in love with Jeremy Chin because he's the prettiest ugly girl? I mean, I wouldn't say that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, how much?
Right.
And really what I would think is this, is that the problem with Jeremy Chin has nothing to do with Jeremy Chin. It has to do that he doesn't have a ton of talent around him, right? And like, I think he's excelled. I think he's been fantastic. He had a fantastic rookie year. He had a good sophomore year. It wasn't as good as his rookie year. It was hard to, especially when our defense kind of just regressed in a lot of different ways towards the end of the season. I think he was making an impact on this team this year. For me, I'm glad we're not playing him simply because, like, why we have a good young player who really cares at this point. If like, I mean, we don't want him to continue to get hurt. We don't want to, when you play injured, you compensate. When you're coming back from an injury, like, does this hamstring link to an ankle injury that, you're compensating somewhere? When you're not playing healthy, it's difficult. The other thing too, when it comes to this is, or what Cody was talking about, what's interesting about Jeremy Chin, if you guys remember his rookie season, he had a personal coach because they looked at him like that multi-tool. So he would do like 30 minutes in the linebacker room, 30 minutes in the safety room. And he had one guy that like trailed and followed him around. So I'm glad. I think Steve Wilks is making, I think first he's a secondary coach, like he's coached defensive backs. And I think he realizes too that like sacrificing these players' well-being for short-term gains is irresponsible. And I think that shows you a lot about the character of Steve Wilks and someone who's been in the game for a long time. Yeah. Speaking of coaches, guys, a couple of them got the axe today or yesterday.
Yeah.
And my favorite quote about this is, this is like rearranging deck chairs as the Titanic sinks. Paul Pasqualoni and was the other guy? Who was the other guy? Gosh, why is his name? Something else. Why do I not have it written on the slide? We got rid of Paul Pasqualoni, and this is a I think he's a defensive backs coach, this kid. No one knows his name. Not a single person on this show knows this dude's name.
Paul Pasqualoni or the other guy?
The other guy.
Yeah, he's a secondaries coach. I know that.
The other guy. Who is this other dude? Hold on.
Evan Cooper.
Evan Cooper. Thank you.
No, thanks specifically to Matt knows nothing. Because
Matt knows everything, obviously.
Yeah, right? I had a tweet up, and then I lost it like right at the last second. Dude, that shows you how much or how important they were. But like, wait, they
yeah.
Okay.
Well, first of all, we got to remember this is that Wilkes was the secondary coach. This guy was not. He was a temporary secondary coach. It looks like, because Wilkes was the defensive backs coach, as far as I know, before he got appointed to interim. Interesting fact here: Paul Pasqualoni has always looked old. Even when he was the head coach, or when he was coaching with the Lions, he was born old. And this other guy, Evan Cooper, interesting fact. I'm pretty sure he was with Matt Rule at Baylor. Wow, I don't really know. What do you guys think the significance? Why do you think that Wilkes did this?
You have to, don't you? I mean,
why? Well, how does it help? How does it help?
Okay. Remember a couple of seasons back when Ron Rivera was still the head coach? It might have been 2019, and we got our asses whipped. And I'm talking bad. And Ron Rivera went through and made some cuts and some coaching changes. I kind of think if you consider that performance against the Bengals, I mean, listen, there's a reason that, why I called this podcast tonight a wounded Carolina Panthers await Atlanta Falcons, because we are wounded, man. Joe Mixon almost broke an NFL record. I mean, we were rendered completely ineffective by the third quarter. When you have that terrible of a performance, I mean, even if you want to blame the offense and the quarterback situation was bad, and maybe we just didn't have a passing attack and drop balls, that's fine. But there is literally no excuse for our defense playing as terrible as it did. There's no excuse whatsoever. You have to make a change. And listen, I know y'all don't want to hear it, but with the Panthers being 2 games outside of the division lead, us as fans might not believe in the team right now. But if you're a head coach, everything that you do has to be aimed towards winning football games. And if you're going to put out that kind of performance, someone has to go. You might call him a scapegoat.
Yes.
But hey, I mean, what else are you going to do in that situation?
Derek Brown's having his best year right now. Paul Pasqualoni, defensive line coach. We are working with
YG. I'm the most sacked quarterback.
What's that?
No sacks on Joe Burrow, the most sacked quarterback in the NFL.
At the same time, we weren't saying this 4 weeks ago that he was a problem. Right? And this is well, here is this is like, I want to know how you're getting better in the short term, even from something like this. This one I don't really understand. I think these are we talked about this last year when Matt Rule started firing people. Is like the lifeboat is taking on water, and you got to throw some people. It's either you or some other people. I just felt like this was to make Tepper happy, or somebody happy. Like, I don't really know how all of a sudden your defensive front, like why this dude was the problem. And how about this is, what do you do in the short term after this? How do you replace these guys? And also, the reason you haven't fired Ben McAdoo is because you don't have a guy that you can plug and play to replace him. So I just feel like these are almost just like bystanders. I think these are people that are being thrown under the bus by the people that are running the deep state in a certain sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't mind if you want to call them scapegoats, because, again, maybe they are. But also, I'm not necessarily too upset with it either. I mean, Also consider
2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
the fact that for as much as we might like Steve Wilkes, the man, I think as time goes on, and if he continues to put up performances like that, then he's probably not going to be the head coach very long, which also means that our entire coaching staff is probably going to be out the door at some point anyway. So, it's kind of like, it's a big whatever burger, just like our quarterback situation. None of these guys are going to be here long term. So why lose sleep about it now?
I'm not losing sleep about it. I just feel like this. We didn't fire Al Holcomb because he's Steve Wilkes' boy. Right? I mean, and D's ill skill says Wilkes will bring in guys he knows and trusts. Well, he's going to bring them off the street and say, hey, here's the defensive line. Get them playing well. I think this is interesting. We're going to go to this conversation in just a moment, given what's going on with the Indianapolis Colts. I just think these are collateral damage. Who put it up there? It was a great point. Is that Playa from the Himalayas said collateral damage? That's what it is. Is these guys are over there going, damn, and then boom, all of a sudden it's like they're getting sacked. So who knows? I mean, like you said, are we losing sleep over it? No. It's just my question is how do you get better? If you're trying to say we're trying to get better by Thursday, how do you put new guys in new places and say, good luck? I think that's difficult to do on the fly as well.
And today, Steve Wilkes hinted that they would even look outside the organization to bring coaches in this year, which is kind of crazy still, right? Like, how many times in the middle of a football season are you looking outside of your organization to bring
we're talking about that later, bro.
For a team that's where we're at.
How about what if you just brought in a head coach from outside the organization? Which I'm all right with. I'm going to have some takes that you guys are not going to like. If you're upset about the Jeff Saturday conversation in Indianapolis, stick around because Tony will make you more upset. Just like I'm with Cody Lashney here, ultimately. I'm not losing sleep over it. It's just, was it really helpful and beneficial? I don't know. More news, though, about the Panthers and this. One of the things, actually, before we transition and just kind of a segue here, is that is firing these guys just kind of part of the tanking mentality? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, who really cares at this point? Is like, just, no? You don't think so?
I think those were rule guys again. I think that this could be a separation of further removing the cancer that they saw as Matt Rule. At least that's from the outside looking in, right? Paul Pasqualoni is an interesting one. It was a bit interesting. That was a bit of a surprise.
That's the one that I'm interested because that's not a Rule guy.
Well, they are because Rule was, I can't remember. I remember there being an interview with regard to Rule, and they know each other like pretty well outside of football.
Yeah, Pasqualoni used to be the head coach at Syracuse.
Oh, see, I did not remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a part of it there that kind of comes into play, but At the end of the day, I don't think that if you ask me, Steve Wilkes is not in the mindset of tanking. This dude is playing his heart out to try to get a head coaching job or to stay in the NFL in a coaching position, and either preferably in a defensive coordinator position, right? And the fact that you had a guy last week that's Arthur Smith giving so much praise to Steve Wilkes for how he's been handling this situation. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and pat opposing teams, a coach on the back, but the dude seems to really respect what Steve Wilkes has done. And I think Steve Wilkes has that mindset. He's going to try to do something to turn this thing around.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that the team played like it did in Cincinnati.
I agree.
And you saw how upset he was on the sideline. Or at least I could tell. And also after that Falcons game, the Falcons game, Steve Wilkes was devastated. You know, I mean, I'm not like he was shook, like it was like, and he was going to go cry about it, but you could tell that he thought, man, we're about to catch something right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We get that big play, that momentum. He was disappointed. That's all I'm saying.
That's why I don't even, Tony, that's why I don't blame him for making the fires. I mean, I understand why you think it might be an overreaction, but as what you said, I believe that Steve Wilkes had a genuine thought and feeling that this team and this division can still compete. And this is a perfect opportunity for him to audition for this next head coaching job. But it brings up this conundrum, right? Because, and we talked about this a little bit last show. Before we move on completely, I kind of feel that it's worth bringing it up one more time. And it's, should the Panthers have traded Brian Burns and DJ Moore? And one of the reasons why I bring this up, shout out to Dean Jones, our guy from catcrave.com. He put out this tweet. And by the way, you might be listening to us on catcrave.com. Shout out to all those listeners. But Dean Jones put on Twitter, the Panthers repeatedly turned down this for Brian Burns and DJ Moore. If we would have traded them, we would have received a 2023 first-round pick, potential top 10 from the Green Bay Packers, 2024 first-round pick, 2025 first-round pick, and a 2023 second-round pick. Dean says that's a big call. Not sure I'd have done the same given their current state. And I wanted to pose that question to you boys. Knowing what happened after Cincinnati, just being railroaded by Joe Burrow and the Bengals and Joe Mixon, did the Panthers make a mistake by not getting that kind of draft compensation for DJ Moore, for Brian Burns, or ultimately are you happy they're still going to be wearing those black and blue helmets this Thursday night?
In hindsight, yes, it was a mistake. Where we were at that moment, I would say no. They made the right decision. And I think we even all came on here after that game and said they made the right decision. It's just a matter of now we see what the other, we see the other side now. Right. Had we won those games and we had gotten rid of them, we probably would still be praising it because we'd say, oh, we don't need them. But we would be wondering, man, can you imagine what we'd be like next year with, these guys, with how we're playing right now? I mean, it's always going to be like that. We react to what's happening in the moment. So I think that, like I said, in hindsight, yes, it was a bad decision. We should have gotten rid of them. But 2 weeks ago, we were talking about not tanking and winning the division. So it's hard to say, really.
Yeah, no. We missed the opportunity on Brian Burns. Trading DJ Moore would be a mistake. The reason being is we just re-signed DJ Moore. He's got guaranteed money. That money doesn't move with the trade. You're going to get saddled with a bunch of dead money that's going to ruin any cap opportunity you have. And DJ Moore is a young player. Dude, how old is he? Right now, he is... Somebody look up how old. He's like... I mean, he came into the league at 20, I think. He might only be 24.
DJ Moore or Burns?
Burns. Both of them are pretty young. I'm pretty sure that DJ Moore is younger, though. Wide receiver, though, it's the contract that determines this when it comes to DJ Moore. And while you could get maybe a top 10 pick.
24 years old.
24, yeah. I mean, so he's got 6 years of being a hardcore receiver. If you think about guys going to their early 30s as a receiver, 30 years old, it's just really the money you would lose. Like, yes, you get a top 10 draft pick. So on a draft basis for DJ Moore in a rebuild potential process, that works. Brian Burns, we should have done it. 2 firsts and a second. Here's the thing: is Brian Burns is a good player. I don't know if he's great. And the only thing I could say is this: you now have to re-sign Brian Burns. You have to extend him, which I was open to doing before we started this season. I really wanted to do it before this season started. Yeah. But here's the problem: is Brian Burns is a player that's going to need another player with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. He's not like a Julius Pepper. And I only know, man, I'm always going to go to Pep because he's my dude. Right. Like but like, I'm trying to think of an all around defensive end, like the Bosa's or something, where you can put you can put a Charles Johnson on the other side, but they don't have to be a dominant player. Right. Right. And I feel like Brian Burns is a guy that would be awesome with a dominant player.
Yeah. And by the way, that's what the Rams, that's the reason why they wanted him so bad and why they were willing to give up that kind of haul for Brian Burns. Because if you do put him on a team like the Rams or with the defensive line and Aaron Donald, or on a team like Philadelphia, which was also rumored earlier on, all of a sudden that guy goes from a good player to a great player in no time.
He's not like Bosa, though, from the 49ers. He's not in that. That's a grade above him. And I'm not saying he's a top 10 defensive end. Maybe he might be like a 8 to 12 guy in this league or a 10 to 15 guy. But I don't think he's a top 5 defensive end in this league. And here's the only thing that I'm worried about, that the Panthers, now that they have to re-sign him, or at least I think they do. Yeah, you do. Is like, do you get into a contract with a guy that ultimately is a little rich for the type of player he is? Now, here's the good news about this. The best reason about keeping both of these guys, is you're going to get a top 5 pick anyway this year. And these are some futures. The futures are not going to help the team in the immediacy. Even if you went and got a top defensive end next year, they're going to take time to develop. You're actually hitting Brian Burns in his ultimate prime as a player, and you have already invested in the learning curve. Like, you don't want to throw him out now when you invested in the time where he was a pretty good player, and now he could step into being a top tier player in the league. And then the other thing is this defense right now is that it's got some young pieces on it. But like, if you start just retooling young, is that like this team could go from a somewhat talented team that could be quickly on the rebuild, kind of like a Cincinnati, like a turnaround, or I'm trying to think of another team that's kind of turned it around quickly, or we could find ourselves in a Jacksonville situation or a Lions situation where this rebuild goes on for a decade.
Yeah, I mean, there are teams that pick at the top of the draft that the very next year they were able to turn it around. The Giants,
the Jaguars this year are going to be the Texans.
Well, I mean, look, the Giants.
Oh, you mean the turnaround? I'm sorry, I thought you meant I'm
talking about
back in the top 5
that
again.
Were picking in the top 5 and then turned around in the very next year and ended up becoming a good team. Hell, right now the Jets are 5-3. I mean, the Giants are a good team. By the way, the 49ers, they had a top 5 pick for a bunch of years in a row, granted. But then when they picked Bosa the very next year, they were in the playoffs. They were going to the Super Bowl. So, it didn't have to take so long. And I've said this before. I'm a firm believer that part of the reason why they are still on this team is because David Tepper is going to go after a big-time coach. Hold on. David Tepper is going to go for a big-time coaching hire at the end of this season. And I'm a firm believer that you're going to need to offer that coach more than just draft picks to convince them to come here and build this football team around players like DJ Moore, like Brian Burns, like Jeremy Chin, like JC Horn, and Kema Kwanu. Those players are going to be who you build your team around from here on out. And after that McCaffrey trade, now we have all of those later rounds that we had given up for quarterbacks like Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. I know right now it's very easy to say we should have taken those offers, but ultimately, even though those were good picks, I think we made the right move.
If this was a top 10 pick for Brian Burns, would you have next year or in this draft coming up, would you have done it? You get that person on a 5-year contract.
And it was this year and next
say like
year?
we get, just say we get one, say
23
the
and
offer,
24, right?
no, just say I gave you one first round pick and now you were guaranteed it was a top 10 pick in the 2023 draft. Would you take it for Brian Burns?
No, not unless I have two.
Wow.
I would need that.
I would because you get 5 years out of him.
Give me the first round this year and the year after, and maybe. Yeah.
I disagree. So what I think you should have done is taken these picks, you take the first next year, the futures, and you combine them all and trade up and get into the top 10. You know what I'm saying? And then you pick your quarterback at 3. You pick
That's easier said than done, though.
I don't think so. I think that if you told somebody who was trying to trade back that you would give them a first 2 years in a row and a second, you could take those 3 picks and turn it into a first, a top 10 pick. I believe you could. So that's the thing is that it does sound like a future thing, but like you could have parlayed it. And really now it's going to be about the money. And the real time will tell you this is that if somehow Brian Burns is not a Carolina Panther in 2 years, then you tell me what you think about this.
Oh, that's a bad look. That is the ultimate egg on their face move. If you let Brian Burns walk because you're not willing to pay him the money that him and his agent,
or what if he just doesn't take it? What if he doesn't take it?
Does it Julius Peppers and says, "Nah, I'll go somewhere else"?
Well, how about this? Is that what if are you willing to reset the market for him?
No, man.
Right? And so what if he says this? What if he says this is what it's going to take to keep me in Carolina? And you go, whoa, that's a tad rich. And then he says, well, you know what? I can't get that from pick a team who's on the cusp of being like from the Kansas City Chiefs, but I can get closer to the range that you're telling me. Why would he want to be here? What if he just doesn't? That they better have an open dialogue right now with his fucking agent. In fact, if I don't even see the extension by the end of this season, almost, I'm starting to get nervous.
Right.
I don't even want it to go that farther. And no, I don't want to draft another YGM. I don't want to draft a second round defensive end. What I'm saying is this: if you could take 3 picks and parlay them into, if we picked at 1 and 7 this year, and you had both of those players for 5 years,
right?
Also, I think part of the allure of this is that the Panthers have never had multiple first round picks. Like to actually see what Fitterer would do in a full-on build where everyone knows you're probably drafting a quarterback, everyone knows that you're probably going to draft another defensive end, all these other players. Like the Panthers have never been in that situation, and all the draft nicks find players that they fall in love with, and they go, yeah, I want that dude and that dude and that dude. So, again, we're not playing Madden here.
Well, go ahead.
I was going to say the argument against that, and I understand, is Scott Fitterer looked at who those offers were from. And sure, the Green Bay one, it right now looks like it is going to be a high draft pick. By the end of the year, that could change. I have a hard time looking at Aaron Rodgers and thinking that's going to be that bad of a situation. Their defense has been much more improved this year. So,
but they just lost what's his face?
It? Yeah,
Ray, it starts with a G or something.
Yeah, Rashad Gary or something like that. But so I mean, but if I look at the other side of this, and I look at the Rams offer for Brian Burns, Scott Fitterer has a point. Like, he's looking at that as these guys are going to be typically drafting pretty late in the first round. So, and to have one in 2024 and one in 2025, it's so far away for it to be a later round pick. It just doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense. And so I understand maybe turning that down. I know a lot of people are like, well, first round pick's the first round pick.
True,
well, late first round pick is also very close to being a second round pick. And the only first round pick that we've picked that late, and it's worked out pretty well, is probably DJ Moore. And
Brian Burns was a late first round pick.
No, Brian Burns
he
was
was
early.
16.
But that's not what I'm talking about. Late.
DJ Moore and him were about close. Maybe DJ was like 19 or 20.
Was he? I thought we were picking like 20, 22 or 23, something like that.
For DJ, yeah, but for Brian, that was
it was not top 15 then.
16th pick. And remember, Nova Black called in from the stadium and announced that pick at Panther Stadium.
That's medium first round. I'm talking about, like, they look at the Rams as being late first round. So you're talking 25, 26, 27. And by that point, like, it's almost second round. I mean, again, you're not getting a horrendous capital. I mean, first round is a first round. I'll be the first to say that. But the part of it that I have a hard time arguing for is again,
I agree.
2024,
and he's a young player. He's a young player. But he is at the back end of his contract, his rookie contract.
He is, but he's still got this year and his 5th year option. And so we have some time to work
one more year. Yeah. I think this is the way I look at it, though, with the McCaffrey stuff. Like, you think of like, oh, we could have gotten whatever, like,
right.
I almost would rather have, when I see all these picks, when I see like 2 seconds and this and that, I don't think of them like, oh, we're going to add 2 YGMs. Mm-hmm. I would just like to take all of these picks and smush them up and move to get DJ.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to move from, like, I would rather give you 2/3 in a second and like put me in the top 25 and just get one player that I'm going to have. So, like, that's the way I understand. Like, I think you guys are right. I think there's interesting parts about it. I don't think the DJ Moore one ultimately makes sense. And have you seen how relaxed DJ Moore has been? This dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's almost like starting to get annoying. And what I mean, it's not just like him. It's the ping pong ball in the background. Ping, 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 ping. And they asked him, this is a good segue, because they were asking him questions about the blackout this week, mainly the black helmets, and if he liked it. And he's like this. It's just like, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, he's always been like that, though. Like, it's not more, but like, the thing is, we saw the most emotion out of him ever when we were playing that Atlanta game. That's the most emotion that I've ever seen DJ Moore.
Let's look at this clip, Cody. Let's look at this.
They good for Thursday night, to switch up. Maybe next year we could get white ones, white and blue. That'd be dope. But I'm rocking with the black ones right now.
Man, look, Todd, that's a man that has been paid. Okay.
Yes, yeah, like he's the safest dude on the roster, bro. He is the safest guy on the roster. Yeah. They did not trade him for potentially a top 10 pick. He got paid. He's going to be there. It don't matter who your coach is, who the GM is. This mug is the safe. Name me one player on this roster who has a safer position on the Carolina Panthers than DJ Moore. Name it.
Maybe it'd have to be someone on their rookie contract. No one.
Horn? No.
I mean, yeah, they're not going to trade away Horn or Icky. So, I mean,
no,
I'd say
maybe Icky, but no, Horn has still got a lot to prove with his health and some different things.
No,
like DJ is proven.
DJ is safe as it comes. Absolutely.
I want you guys listening. The number's 252-228-5098. I want you guys to call in and tell me, who do you think has a safer position on the Panthers roster? other than DJ Moore and David Tepper ultimately. The number is 252-228-5098. I like this answer from Anthony Price, JJ Jansen. He'll be here till the end of time. But here, let's get into it. Thursday night is the moment we were all waiting for until we were not waiting for it. Let's go back one slide, though, because I got something else to say about that giveaway before. So it's a different thing. So, Greg, get ready to write this timestamp down. Thursday night is the night that we were all waiting for until we weren't waiting for this season. Ugh. The blackout game that we ultimately wish was blacked out, but the Carolina Panthers have finally got what we wanted. Black on black on black. We've had the black uniforms, the black shirt, the black jerseys, the black pants. They look so clean with that great Carolina blue, that very unique Carolina tealish turquoise blue, whatever the way we're going to classify it. Process blue. That's the actual name of it. You're right.
Yeah.
So clean, but it was always missing something. It was always missing the black helmet. In fact, the reason those black uniforms in the past were cursed, Cody Lashney. They were cursed because of the silver helmet. We finally got what we asked for, except for the Panthers freaking suck.
Yeah, and look, you and I, this has been a point of contention between you and I for a long time, right? Because someone who loves the black uniforms, pretty much in every iteration that they come in, I'm not a big superstitious guy like, oh man, they're cursed. Oh, it's like an unlucky pair of underwear, and oh, we're destined to lose. Like I've never been big on that. I even want to ask y'all, are you a believer in this curse? And do you feel bad, like if we have a bad performance this Thursday, the first time wearing our all-black helmets, that it will then further curse the Carolina Panthers to more bad performances now that it's going to be our first time wearing them? I personally don't think so. I believe that as the team goes, that's how the team goes. It doesn't matter what color you're wearing. I think the fans are going to love it. As you mentioned, or I don't know if you mentioned yet, Tony, but the Panthers are asking all Panther fans to wear black. And, man, I remember that 2013 Monday Night Football game.
Yep.
Cam
versus
Newton
the Patriots.
against the Patriots. Man, the bank was absolutely booming. I mean, that was primetime Panther football. So many Panther fans in the stadium. We weren't overrun. Man, it reminds me of what Panther football has the potential to be. So, yeah, man, I'm down for it. I don't believe in no curse. I'm hoping that it's the start of a great thing.
CK, this is a terrible way to try to uncurse a new setup here. Is that first, my curse has always been this, is that we never played great in the black on black. And I always said it's because they didn't ever give us the black hat.
Right. No, at this point in time, I mean, I don't know. The curse, it's one of those things where it's a curse only until it's not a curse, right? And so we're just this game could be the one that makes us think a little bit less about that, because every time we are excited about the uniform, it turns out that that's the shittiest game that we've ever played as a Panther
every time
franchise.
Every time.
So, which is tough, but listen, at the end of the day, again, it's only a curse until it's not. So.
Yeah. What if we though come out and smoke the Atlanta Falcons at home under duress on a short week? Am I right? Would that be evidence that potentially it was the hat holding us back?
It could be, but it could also be evidence that it's a curse, because I think that a win right here in this scenario would be the worst situation the Carolina Panthers can go through. So
it's a triple curse.
Yeah, it's almost bittersweet, because, like, man, I want to win, and I want to win in the All Blacks. And I don't think we've worn the black uniforms all year, have we? We've worn white.
No, this would be the first time. So they told us
Yeah.
they were going to give us this helmet, Greg.
Yeah.
And we got so hype, and then they said you can't see it till November.
Wow.
And then you can't see it till a shitty-ass Thursday night game.
No,
and
no.
now you can't see it till you found out that the Carolina Panthers were literally shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. But I mean, I tell you though,
we've waited so long for
so
this
good,
moment, and this is when we get it.
Yeah, I'm sitting here making a thumbnail for this segment right here, looking at this black helmet. Oh my god, it looks so good, man.
So fly.
I'm so excited.
So fly. I'm trying to think of this is if anybody can tell us when we were good on those black and black jersey, the black on black combo with the silver helmet. I can't wait. Because I loved them so much. And then every time we wore them, I felt like it was just like a big game on a primetime stage. And we got blasted in. I want to say, someone go find out, chat, find out what color unis we were wearing in that Monday night 2013 game. I feel like it was the blue shirts.
No.
Or was it black pants and gray pants?
No, it was the silver. It was the silver pants and the black tops.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I knew it wasn't black on black though.
Which we haven't seen that in a long time either. That's an old classic right there that I do kind of miss. I love that silver bottom black top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, we've worn whites every game this season. I don't know why.
So you guys got to check in on Thursday night. If you're a Panther fan and you're going to this game, which we hope you are, there's going to be a lot of people that are still, this is a game that a lot of people are excited to attend. Mm-hmm. This is the one you probably didn't sell your tickets for earlier in the season, that type of thing. We love a primetime game. Thursday night games are notoriously bad. Sometimes they're good, though. But this was the one, man, when you heard black on black on black, you were ready. So make sure you wear black on black on black. You black this sucker out with them. Bring your lighters or whatever they do now, your cell phones with your little flash. Maybe they'll have a light show. That's what they should do, is have a light show too at halftime or something. The Panthers need to get fans invested. And I tell you, Cody, let's jump to the next slide. Oh my goodness. This irritates me so bad. So bad. Actually, I was excited when I saw it. Like, I was like, oh, the Panthers giving away a black helmet. Right? And then I think if you look into it, I don't know. Are they giving you a full-size helmet? They better be giving you a full-size helmet.
It better be, yeah.
If they give you if anybody can tell us this, if they give you a black mini, I'm going to be pissed. And here's the other thing. I think the Panthers, this is good. This is cool. They have these giveaways. They do these things. You go on their website, you do the spins, you do this stuff right here. I think in a season like this, you better give away more than one fucking helmet. Like, I want to see 15 Panther fans on Twitter going, oh, I won the black helmet. If you give away one helmet, come on, y'all bitches.
Well, what is the possibility of the black helmets ever coming back after this? Is this like something that I know that they said this game, only one game this season, but can they come back to it next season and be like, hey, we like those. Can we just start using them?
Kevin's right. 100 at least. This is what they owe right now. One helmet. Yeah. This better not be one helmet. But no, Greg, I do think this is about to be a long-term fixture. Okay. But I don't know how frequent they're trying to make it right now something unique and special.
Yeah.
I do think this Rare Gamer 99 has got a great point here. Blue glow sticks.
Oh,
give those out at the door.
That would be incredible. Okay. That would be the dopest, man.
Dude, they better be listening to us right now.
They are.
Blackout, black helmet giveaways, a minimum of 100, and 55,000. You only need 55,000. It's not like you're going to get 88 at this game.
Look, they can afford it. They gave away all those flashing lights at FanFest. They can afford to give away
a glow stick is a penny, 10 cents from China.
By the way, can I just share something else that's going to be really cool about this game? Not only are we getting black helmets, check out
black
these
end
zone,
yeah,
boys.
That's nice.
Oh, man, that's what I'm saying. Look, even for a moment, our team may not be good, but even for a moment, we can bask in the knowledge that the Carolina Panthers have the best colors of any NFL football team.
100%. You know what I wish they could do?
Of any football team, I love it. Dude, even for a night, I'm just going to imagine that the Carolina Panthers have the same raucous crowd of like a Kansas City Chiefs game, and that we have the environment, the atmosphere, the glow sticks that keep pounding drum line over
perfect.
the PA system.
They should put all of the drum line in like those where they wearing the suits that have the blue lights on them, like a Blue Man Group, like not the Blue Man Group, but I saw this kid walking. He was in Halloween. My daughter goes, "Oh, that costume's so awesome! He's a stick man," and he was wearing an all black outfit, and he had glow sticks that made him a stick figure. Right? They should have the glow. They should at this point, David Tepper. This is what y'all need to be thinking about.
Yeah.
If you guys want an opportunity to win this black helmet, this one, please, Carolina Panthers, if y'all listening to us, A, thank you. B, don't sue us because Pat McAfee and all that crap or whatever you guys want to do to anybody. And C, tell us you're giving away more than one helmet. But if you want to enter this contest, go right now to Panthers.com. And on their website, there's a banner. And it says, enter to win this helmet. But here, they have this thing right here where you spin this wheel. Can someone in Panther Nation who is listening to this podcast tell me that they have won anything more than 15% off this team store?
It's just like the
I need one person to tell me that they spun that wheel and they won something of value other than a 15% discount on a very expensive purchase in a team store.
Oh, yeah. It's probably marked up 50% already.
I have yet to do that. I've yet to win anything.
I need one person. Tell me. I've spun this wheel a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, I have a question about them painting the end zone there. Can they do it like in college? Like, could we paint the whole field black and have like blue lines for the down lines, for the yard lines instead of white? Like just really black everything out. Is that possible in the NFL? I know in college they have blue fields and orange fields and red fields.
I doubt it. The NFL is so like specific about what they want. I can tell you without question that they probably have some sort of a regulation with regard to the way that.
To be honest, I'm glad that they don't. You know, like I just
so badass a black field.
Yeah, but then think about like you go to Kansas City and they have a red field. You know, it's like at a certain point, it's just a lot to look at. And if you ever watch those Boise State games, those are the ones that have the super blue field. Dude, after a while, it's kind of hard to look at least in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's you know, I like the fact that the NFL can lean into the colors of the teams, and you feel that camaraderie, man. We bleed and blue, and that's why I'm excited about this game coming up. Even if the Panthers might not look the best. And by the way, dude, I'm not even so sure that the Panthers get stomped by the Falcons. In fact, I don't think that we do. Look at it, all of our wins are coming against the NFC South. It's a bad division this year. The Saints are bad. Tampa Bay won. I don't give a damn about that, really. This is a bad division, and I don't claim to know what's going to happen yet, but I still expect it to be a very competitive matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. But listen, man, we have 116 viewers, and you love to listen to us talk about ball. But, dude, you don't love that even half as much as you love getting your asses shamed by the voice that makes them moist. Talk to him, Big Papa.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, you've joined in here to talk about the Carolina Panthers, to hear a couple of guys who, some might say, don't know anything about football, and you come in here and you just sit there and watch for hours on end. You listen for hours on end, but you haven't hit that like button yet. I have one thing to say to all you absolute freaks. Subscriber shame.
$122 strong viewers, 63 thumbs up. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. if the Panthers are winning or losing, you can help the C3 Panther podcast stay winning by doing all those things. Help us whip the ass of the YouTube algorithm, and that way we may be seen by as many Panther fans as humanly possible. As Tony said, man, there's an off season for the Carolina Panthers. There is not one for the C3 Panther podcast, baby. We do this all down. Hit that like and subscribe for updates as to whenever we post brand new videos. Tony, does smell a Taco Tuesday?
It is a Taco Tuesday right now. Ooh. This is a must take right now. You have
I'm pulling up mine right now to
Or
do
he'll
that
put
one.
some 35 yards.
Yeah, 35. All right. So, by the way, the C3 Panthers podcast is sponsored by PrizePicks. But even if we weren't sponsored by PrizePicks, we would pay them. We would play them. We would pay them.
They got a lot of my money. Yeah.
Because it's ridiculously fun daily fantasy sports. Right? That's what it is that you can play daily fantasy sports and make real money. The way it works is you place multiple entries from multiple teams, minimum of 2 players from 2 different teams. You have a stat line, a projected stat line that they're given to you, and you have to pick if more or less. If you pick 2 players, you get 3 times your money. You pick 3 players, you get 5 times your money. And if you pick 4 players, you get 10 times. It goes up and up and up. I'll show you this real quick. I got to get this Taco Tuesday. This is what's also fun about PrizePicks. They care about us a little bit. They know what we need. And sometimes on Fridays they give you a window. You can play a flex play, and you get an added bonus if you hit it. They give you one this past Sunday night. If you made a play at a certain time for every touchdown was thrown, they gave you $5 period. So you won even if you lost. In this case, on Tuesdays, they always do Taco Tuesday where they give you a discounted player. They give you a deal. And right now, we always, on this show, each and every week, we pull up and we use PrizePicks as a way to investigate or to look at the upcoming matchup. I pull up PrizePicks right away here. Cordero Patterson you're getting a free, what is that, 15 yards?
Yeah, and against a team that literally
can't stop the run,
that didn't do anything to stop the run, and whose defensive line coach just got fired. So, I mean, let's go
as the kids say.
They are a run first team. They are not a pass first team. So they are going to be pushing. So they didn't have Cordero Patterson against us 2 weeks ago, right? They have him this week, and I think that could be a difference maker in making this game look a lot more in favor of the Falcons than it does the Panthers.
PrizePicks, if you use the promo code C3, that's what you got to do. Not only do we love PrizePicks, but they love when you love that we love them, and you use our promo code C3. The first time you play PrizePicks and you use the promo code C3 on your first deposit, you get up to a 100% deposit bonus on your first $100. So you put in $100, they give you $100. You put in $75, they match you with $75 in promo funds. This is real money that you get to turn into real money playing daily fantasy football sports. Right now, I got to say this. These are the pick. First, Taco Tuesday this week is in my mind, I don't want to say it. This is not
free taco.
This is not real. Yeah, that's a free taco. That's one of the better Taco Tuesday offers that I've seen.
But don't you think that the Panthers are spiteful enough? Mm-hmm. So again, after that Falcons game.
No way.
36 and a half yards. Listen. After that Falcons game, I was so high on PJ Walker and DJ Moore. I took them in my PrizePicks. Mm-hmm. And boy, did that not go well for your boy, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that the Panthers, listen, bipolar comes to mind. We cannot be consistent in anything that we do. That's the only thing that frightens me. Everything the CK said is legitimate. Just fired our defensive line coach. Cannot stop the run. And yet, even still, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Yeah, it's hard to not like the more on that Patterson pick, though.
I love this right here. Is that tell me out of this three right here, Cordero Patterson, 35.5 on a team that only runs the ball. Tommy Tremble, 13.5 yards receiving.
You're taking
and Christian McCaffrey, 75.5 yards. Which one's the weak link on this three?
Probably the Tremble.
No way. I thought, oh, wow.
Tremble may not even get a catch, man.
Why?
Because he got what? Did he get one last week?
He got a touchdown last week.
Go back to his numbers.
He got the touchdown and he had the pass he dropped. Beyond that, he didn't have a pass thrown to him, I don't think.
Go back to Tremble and see if you can look up how many times he has crested 13.5.
13 yards, yeah.
Oh, crap. It took it off. Hold on.
It's all right. Click on the thing.
Okay. Well,
the last game against Cincinnati had 11.
And he only had 17 against Atlanta the time before that.
True. Ugh, that is maybe it's
29 the game before that.
I'm not saying it's not possible, but that's the one I would look at.
13.5 to a tight end.
But also
it's
remember that
catch.
Pass?
It's
remember,
one catch.
Right. Remember that pass that you dropped against the Bengals. If it catches that, hits him right in the hands.
Do we have another tight end? Ian Thomas. Where does he have you even seen him?
No.
Did you notice how we paid him?
He's sitting back counting his money.
And he is not on the PrizePicks. And yet Tommy Tremble.
To me, look, I think Christian McCaffrey, I think the San Francisco owns the Rams no matter what. That's a little high number for a running
back. Is that
back.
Rushing or overall yards?
That's rushing.
I would look at his overall, see what it is. See what his because that may be a safer bet.
Dude, my friend sent me that one. He said that one's a lock, but
I'd like to go back and look at all the Taco Tuesday picks and see which ones haven't.
You like that one too, CK?
Yeah, I was liking that TMJ one.
I'm going all of them.
TMJ one. Yeah.
Well, that
Derrick Henry at 95 is a solid one too, man.
I'm making this one. I'm making all of them.
Time out. Check out the numbers on it first. How many times this season has he been over 36.5?
The last two games,
which is for me, he's trending up.
And by the way, that's PJ Walker, and it's still PJ Walker on the field. How about this? I feel
I'm about to put in all four of these on the more, bro.
I don't think you can put more than. Oh no, you have the right number.
Look at this right now, folks. I'm putting 20 on this right now. I got to get my Taco Tuesday before it runs out. I think we got an hour and a half, folks. If you're listening to the C3, if you're live right now, I'm one of the 107 people. You can go to PrizePicks right now. Use the promo code C3. They will match your first time deposit of $100. I'm going to go ahead and put this in for a full on 20. I'm trying to make that too. I'm a greedy boy. I always go with the power play. Just want to show you guys a little bit, though. My past entries, man, I've been really close. I almost made big loot this weekend. First of all, I know absolutely nothing about the NBA, but I put in an NBA pick right here. Yeah. I was like, oh, Paul George, Clipper, 12.5 points. I know him. He's an option. He can get that. It just felt good. Actually, was that a first half? Ooh, I didn't even know that was a first half.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't see that part. Ooh. Are those both first half picks I accidentally made and both won them? Holy cow. Wow. On a sport I know nothing.
Give me some of your dumb luck, huh?
This right here, though, I'm so mad about. I felt so great about this one. Mahomes over more than 280.5. He had 446 passing yards. Derrick Henry more than 88.5 on a team that can only pass, that has a quarterback that throws 5 times. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you can't get 26 yards rushing. Fucking bum. But So
the team, yeah.
Look, we've had some win. Look, I had a good win right there. So that put my 30. So I won back that money. I won back some money. I've had some wins up in here.
Yep.
This is the big weekend, bro. This is the big. Actually, it's a big Thursday for me. Taco Tuesday, folks. PrizePicks, promo code C3. They'll match your first time deposit up to 100%. I tell you this, is this sponsor right here doesn't even need to be a sponsor. That's the coolest part.
Right. Yeah.
How many people mention and it's text you about this? All my friends are playing it now. And
look at Mr. Lightning 20 in the chat. Says I love PrizePicks. Won $60 my first week.
Boom. Love it. And we love them.
You should put it out there too that you have to win past the money you won from your promo code before you can take money out, because we've heard people talk about that. It is real money you can take out, but you have to win past the promo that you got. So if you put 100 in and you win and you get
60,
the 100 match,
you can't just pull
you have
out
to win
that
past
160.
that first 100 before you can withdraw anything. So
right. That is a good point. And the thing is that you don't want to withdraw at that point if you're winning 60. You need to be. I mean, I've seen people show me their accounts and they're like, won $1,000. I was like, oh, God. I mean, we've been all you need to do is just look. The best thing about this is when you hit big, it hits big enough to where you can play for like 2 months off the winning. So if I win $200 here, I'm going to place like 5 weeks, 10 weeks of those picks.
Yeah, put $20, $10 bets down. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And on a $10 bet with 4 people, you can win what, $100 a piece? You win half of those $20, $10 bets, and you're in the money.
They got a lot of cool deals they do. Anyway, love PrizePicks. Let's keep going through the show. In fact, the number's 252-228-5098.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and go to the cat calls, but let's bring this slide up because I'm hoping some people will call in real quick. We have a question for you guys. And that is in lieu of, and we're going to talk about this in the midst of the cat calls, in lieu of the news that Frank Reich was fired as the Indianapolis Colts head coach. And then the stunner news was Jeff Saturday was promoted. Not promoted. That's not even the right word.
Yeah,
was made.
He was an analyst. Yeah.
Yeah, was made interim head coach. He's never coached in the NFL. He's never coached in college. Is he a Hall of Famer? Maybe. Is he? That's a question. Is he a Hall of Famer?
He won 2 Super Bowls with Manning, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be in the conversation. I don't know if he is or isn't. But we want to know this, guys, is we're going to talk about, was this right? We're going to talk a little bit about the Colts. But my question that came to mind is, who is a player that you would be okay with the Carolina Panthers naming head coach of the even on an interim basis, right, is what I'm really talking about, who's not named Luke Kuechly.
Does it have to be a Carolina player?
Yeah, I think it would be weird. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
gotcha.
I think
Who's
so.
a Carolina player? Gotcha.
All right. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's start with a call. We're going to go from a call from tonight, and then we'll go backwards. So we'll start with a call, the first call. Cody Lashney, take us into the cat calls real quick.
We got to hit that drop, baby.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
And so I just want to quickly let you guys know I'm going to the game this Thursday. And so if you guys hear on like TV, Rap Bryce Young chants, you guys can know that was started by me. I'm going to lead some chants in the stadium. We're going to rally behind the Bryce Young train, and we will not let this narrative continue to be pushed that C.J. Stroud is better than Bryce Young, because we all know it's BS. And also, I would like to say that I'm going to be carrying an sign to the stadium.
Oh, what does
it say? So
it's
going to look like one of those political signs that you kind of that you sometimes see by the side of the road, but instead of like saying a candidate, it's going to say at the top, draft Bryce Young, quarterback Alabama. At the bottom in small print, it's going to say paid for by the Depressed Panther Fans Committee. So if you guys hear any chance, we want Bryce Young. That's gonna be. Other than that, guys, I'm out. See you later.
Good call, Connor. Good luck. Glad you're gonna go have fun, or I hope you have fun at this Thursday night game. Cool game to go to. Blackout, prime time. Can I give you
division rival?
Division rival. I got to give you some sign advice though. Not saying your sign isn't worthy, but we want to see you on TV. We want to see you, and here is a little OG trick of how to up your odds onto getting to the television. You have to reference the person that carries the game. In this case, it's Amazon Prime. So can you work in the word Amazon? Can you do an acronym with Prime? Something like that they love to put on the TV. Right, is that Fox loves to pan to the guy holding up a sign that says Fox or something on it. So we had signs here. Here's a bad example of this and a lesson to all you Panther fans out there. I've been on the Jumbotron and on television, or at least my signs have been on television, and they've cut me out. This is the worst part about it, is that I had my friends holding up the signs, and I was wearing the Super Cam cape and acting like Superman. They put the three people with the signs up, and they cut me out. And it was all my idea. It was all my work. It was all my energy. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Super Cam. You can go on our Facebook page. That thing's still there on the banner. It's a great time. We went with, and it was the 2012 game. We were hosting the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning. I paid $250 a ticket. It was so expensive. I've never paid that much for a ticket to a sporting event before. I have a friend who lives in Charlotte. We always go to one game a year before the pandemic. And he makes a lot more money than me. And he turned to me at one point in the game and he said, "Can we not pay this much for tickets next time?" Right. And so I was like, and so here's the worst part about it is that Peyton Manning, we wanted to go see a great player. Ryan Khalil took an ad out in the newspaper that year that they were going to win the Super Bowl. I had my Super Cam cape on. I always go ridiculous. I brought my signs, made all of this, and we got diced up by Peyton Manning and the Broncos. Ugh, it was ugly. But here's a lesson, folks. When we play an AFC game, an opponent at home, they put it on CBS. My whole time, I'm sitting there every time I plan these signs out, I'm like, it's Fox. I got to get Fox. And so on one side of the signs, we had something about John Fox on it. Thank God I made dual signs. That's another good trick, Connor. Dual signs. So you can, when you hold them up, people behind you can see something and the people in front of you can, and then you have two messages. But remember, folks, when we host an AFC team at home, the game's always on CBS. Was not ready for that.
Yeah.
Connor, have a great time. The number's 252-228-5098.
Hey guys, it's Tyler here. Sunday after the game, I talked to you guys and mentioned the question, who would you want to be your head coach and quarterback in 2023? Heading home, I saw that was the point or a question that you guys were asking. So I thought about it and actually watched a little bit of film with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. And the head coach I would love to have would be Ken Dorsey. So Ken Dorsey, he was a quarterback coach for us in 2015, I believe. I don't remember exactly how long he was with us. And then eventually went over to the Buffalo Bills, became the offensive coordinator. So under Ken Dorsey, he had an MVP, Cam Newton, developed him. And then he developed, obviously, Josh Allen. And so that's what we need. We need I think that we're going to go towards an offensive-minded coach, and I would love to have him as our head coach that has proven and shown that he can develop a quarterback, and he's done that multiple times. And then the quarterback that I would pick, if I was the GM and the owner, it's really, really hard to choose between C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. With C.J. Stroud, he can push the ball downfield really well. He has a very strong arm. Intangibles. And then you have Bryce Young, who's also a great leader. He doesn't have as big of an arm as C.J. Stroud, but in my opinion, he's able to read the defenses really well at such a young age. His pocket presence and movement within the pocket, his quick feet, he's so elite already at that level, and he's obviously makes smart decisions. So because of that, I'm going with Bryce Young. I still don't think it's wrong going with C.J. Stroud, but if I was choosing, I'm going with Bryce Young and as my quarterback and Ken Dorsey as my head coach. And again, Bryce Young isn't going to be our savior. We still have multiple holes. We need a defensive end. We need a linebacker. We need corner depth. There's multiple things that we need, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. But I don't want Panther fans to think, oh, we got one of these quarterbacks, we're going to be great. No, you're going to have next year, he's going to go through the rookie growing pains, and he's going to have a sophomore slump, and usually by end of year 3, we know what kind of quarterback they are. So just don't think because we get a top tier quarterback in the draft that we're saved. But that's what I'm going with. Good night. Keep pounding.
So I'll let you guys go first, but to further add to this question, and this is coming from Dan Brugler. He was talking about the top of the draft and where these quarterbacks are slated to go. And Dan Brugler says, I promise you, none of these quarterbacks are locked top 5 picks. They can go top 5 because teams can get desperate, but teams don't talk about them like they're slam dunk top 5 picks. So with that said, I don't know. Let me ask you guys. I'll pitch it to you guys because the question was, what is your preferred quarterback and coach combo going into next season?
This was a question that was asked at the end. Tyler said it when he called. He asked it at the end of Sunday's show, and I'd mentioned after the show that'd be a great topic for today. So I've been thinking about this one, and I actually went back and looked at some tape because I don't know much about quarterbacks in college. I know what I see and this and that, but I wanted to have some basis, so I kind of looked at some tape and started thinking about coaches, and I think I got one. And it may sound kind of weird. It may be a recency bias. It's the last video I watched, but I wouldn't mind seeing Kellen Moore coach that Hooker kid. Because I see a lot of Dak Prescott in that Hooker kid. And I see what Kellen Moore's done with Dak Prescott. And I think that he's an offensive-minded offensive-minded coach right now. I think he deserves a head coaching position. And I think that would be a really lethal combination.
I like his name better than Ken Dorsey as a head coach.
Yeah. I even thought about Byron Leftwich in there, too, as well as, thinking about former quarterbacks are always good coaches, I feel, or can always be good offensive coaches. So,
CK, what say you?
I'm starting to warm up to. I mean, again, all right, we're gonna go with preferred. It would be Ken Dorsey and C.J. Stroud.
Okay. I also think it's such a crazy thing with that Dane Brugler. I hate this crap. Do you remember how much we were talking about quarterbacks in this last draft? And they told us that it was the weakest class.
I never bought into it.
Well, you kind of should at this point, given the fact that Malik Willis.
You mean last year or this year?
This past year was the weakest. They told everybody, wait. Next year's going to be great. Don't worry. Kenny Pickett's just okay. Malik Willis is too much of a project. Matt Corral, whatever. Here, they might have been right about Malik Willis at this point. I mean, to be honest, is that like...
he hasn't looked fantastic as a quarterback.
I'm not saying he's been bad or anything.
He threw a couple.
He's only thrown
five.
He only completed 5 passes, bro.
And a couple of the incomplete ones were dimes.
Cam Newton completed a lot more than that in his first game.
By the way, it's his rookie season. He wasn't supposed to be starting. And no matter who's starting, that offense runs through Derrick Henry. And like Greg says, he did make some really good throws.
But it tells us that he is a project, that he's not a...
yeah, exactly.
Kenny Pickett is actually playing full games out there.
Not well.
No, but he's completed more than... He had 5 completions, bro. He's had like 10 completions in 2 weeks.
He also doesn't have Derrick Henry.
Right.
I don't care, man. Yeah. Like Patrick Mahomes threw it 68 times on the other side. I'm just saying this. I don't need him to go out there and complete 20 for 30 to make me feel better. But I wouldn't mind 12 of 24. I'm saying 5 is a low number. Low number. But my point being is this. They told us last year in this past draft when it was Malik, Corral, and Pickett. Those are the 3 numbers, and people shuffled them in 3 numbers, the 3 top prospects, and people shuffled them in whatever order they wanted, in whatever round they wanted. I don't care if you thought they were first round, a third round, a 7th round. I don't care. Those are the 3 names, right? And if I'm missing anybody, maybe the dude from that the Falcons got, who's not playing at all.
Desmond Ridder.
Yeah. Zappy actually turns out to be the number 1 of the class, to be honest, which is the one guy that I kind of liked. I kind of like this dude. But my point being is this, this class sucks next year. Right. And now this year doesn't that great? Fuck y'all assholes for telling us that. I'm not listening to any of these heads no more, Cody.
But Tony, this is why. And listen, you can go back and listen to my stuff before. Whenever all the analysts are telling you, oh, it's a bad quarterback class, I'm telling you, there's always players that end up over exceeding their expectations.
Sure.
Well, hold on. Right now, Bailey Zappi is the earliest one. But also, if you look ahead, I mean, look, Tony always takes every opportunity possible to tell me how underwhelming Trevor Lawrence has been. True. Zach Wilson is not looking great. Justin Fields just recently put up a really, really good performance indicative of his draft pick. Trey Lance is still a question mark. And that was one of the quarterback classes that has supposedly come out in a decade or more. What I'm saying is that you simply never know. The same draft class that had Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson was also called a bad quarterback class. You have to judge every year by itself, and you have to judge these players for who they are and not who they compare to. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of I'm trying to support you in a way.
Yeah.
And that the fact is that I tried, because I don't get caught up in the draft stuff. I'm like, I try not to get too submerged in it. But like everybody's like, it's next year. It's nice, just play for next year. And now we're in next year, and now it's not that good now.
Right.
That's irritating to me. So my answer to Tyler, are you ready for it?
Let's hear it.
I've said it before. Lamar Jackson
Ooh.
And Greg Roman, baby. Let's go. I'll trade my whole draft right now. Oh, wait. Cody Lashley was ready to trade an entire draft for Trevor Lawrence? I'm ready to do this. I'll trade the damn draft right now for Lamar Jackson and Greg Roman. Bring his offensive coordinator. And I tell you this, Lamar Jackson, Cody, you ain't going to like this, but I believe it. Greater than Molester Man. He's a better player and a better person. Lamar Jackson.
Than who?
Than Molester Man. Deshaun Watson.
Molester
Man.
Yeah. I can, as of late, I can definitely as of late.
Did you see, he plays on a cheat code, bro.
He's Listen, it's some guys you're just looking at and you're thinking, I mean, and Lamar is kind of that guy as well that wasn't drafted highly,
right?
But is like
nobody believed in him.
Surely like a great quarterback. Like it's undeniable at this point in time. I'm honestly concerned for the Baltimore Ravens at this point in time that they didn't sign him this offseason.
And now he's going to cost $1 bazillion.
Not even just that. Like the dude is going to feel like he hasn't been believed in. And like, do you think he's going to want to? I mean, I almost wonder if he wants to. They traded away all his weapons, like with Hollywood Brown, and he wasn't happy about that, notably. So I mean, the dude's like basically been, I mean, by his own franchise has been doubted on multiple occasions, and not set up to succeed.
I know you guys are going to tell me one thing before you get.
I was going to add some fuel to your fire.
I hope
Sean Payton was doing an interview.
I saw it
with both of the Manning brothers.
I know.
And they asked him about Lamar and his contract, and he was like, "Yeah, Lamar's going to be a free agent next year. I might be a free agent next year." Basically, kind of.
And he always talked, and Sean Payton always spoke highly of him too.
Yeah, he did. And by the way, David Tepper's the kind of person that would see those two things and try and make them both happen.
But would that bother you? With Sean Payton, if you could bring Sean Payton and Lamar Jackson here?
No, but we can't. The Sean Payton is even more far-fetched than the Lamar Jackson. Now, look, I know you guys are going to tell me Lamar Jackson, it's a foolish pipe dream, but you asked me who I wanted.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I got the coach and the quarterback. They come as a tandem. I think it would be a sweet deal. I think Lamar would love it. Here's a couple of things to think about. The first thing everybody's going to bring up, and my bastard son, first off, always your children talking back to you. They would tag him. And you're right. They are going to tag him. But here's the thing with Lamar. He bet on himself this year.
It's going to pay off, dude.
He
Lamar
bet
also
everything.
Sign that tag, does he? Like, you're not required to sign the tag.
He's not. And so here's the thing is he bet 1,000% on himself this year. And he even went into this year and he said, if you don't pay me before the season starts, I'm not going to negotiate during the season, which is awesome. Like he was like, how about that? What about the stones on this motherfucker who said this is like, oh, you want to play hardball? Well, the price just doubled, homie.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. And
oh my gosh.
So here is the thing is that you're right. The franchise tag is a hurdle here that is problematic. But I think this, yeah, but it did. But here's the thing is that I could see he could bully them like your boy Molester Man did. Molester Man was paid already and bullied his team.
Look, if the rule
he could just say, I'm not going to play, trade me.
Yeah. Yeah, if the rule is the next guy up gets paid the most, there's absolutely no way that Lamar Jackson's not the highest paid. Or at least not saying going into next season's the highest paid.
He's better than
at signing, he should be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
He's better than Watson, bro.
You realize what you just said is an absolute fantasy, though.
Wow.
If they tagged Lamar Jackson, do you know the amount of money that he will get fined for every day that he does not show up?
No, he won't be fined. He actually would just not play. He's not. He just wouldn't sign the tag. He's not fined. You don't. If you don't sign the tag, he's actually.
Cody said if you are.
No, if you are under contract,
but you're not.
If they put but if they put the tag on you and then
you don't sign it, you're not under contract anymore.
Under contract.
You're not fined. You're not fined at all. You're just passing up on $40 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, the tag is just to help out the franchise.
Dude, Deshaun Watson did it.
About the franchise.
Deshaun Watson did it and got a fucking raise.
But his was under all this legal stuff, though.
No, he did it before that even happened, dude. He sat out.
What player that is able and willing to play football has chosen
Le'Veon Bell and Deshaun Watson?
And you're not remembering it correctly. Deshaun Watson did not sit out one season just because he didn't want to play for the Texans.
That's actually true. You're not remembering it correctly.
Dude, it was like a couple months, 2020 or like right after 2020 that all the news started to come out about him.
But he had already requested a trade by that
and
point.
He sat out. He was already sitting out.
Until,
You're not remembering correctly,
right?
Cody.
But they were going to trade him.
No, they weren't.
Going to be a scenario where he was.
No, they weren't.
It is.
No,
yes,
they were not.
But hold on. Well, I'm not understanding your question here.
Dude,
you're wrong. You're wrong.
He played football in 2019, and then the accusations came out against him in early 2020.
After he already started sitting out, bro.
Yeah, after he told them he's not playing anymore, he wants to be traded.
Yeah.
And they were going, and then they were going.
No, they said we're not trading you, and you're going to take the fine. And he started taking the fines. You're misremembering, dude.
And Cody, you got to keep in mind, he basically sat out because he was not suspended. He made the decision not to play. Like that was his decision.
Yeah, he actually was never suspended. You're right. So not only do the legal accusations do not matter, he was not put on the commissioner's non-exempt list. He was not suspended by the team. He chose to sit out, Cody. You're wrong. And here, you want to know the names? I'll tell you another name. Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell.
Deshaun Watson one time. They were not going to play Deshaun Watson.
What?
Le'Veon Bell's a running back, dude, and look how that turned out for him.
He made the money.
Turned out disaster.
No, he made the money, bro. He made the money. Doesn't matter. He made the money.
You went to the Jets and then flamed out in 2 minutes. We have a Jets fan in the chat room.
We're talking about the money part, bro.
But Cody, how many franchises have refused to pay their quarterback?
Well, how about formerly the Redskins?
Yeah, Cousins.
Yeah, but you're trying to tell me that Cousins and Lamar Jackson are in the same conversation, homie?
But look,
all right, here's one other thing. All right, here, look. Let me stop this argument because you're wrong on this. You're wrong on the Deshaun part. You're misremembering the timeline, number one. Number two, you're not counting in the fact that he was not suspended. He willingly sat out. But here's the thing right here that we're talking about. Not only did Lamar watch all that happen and Deshaun get a fucking raise, this is what Lamar wants. Fully guaranteed. And do you know why the owners are so upset that the Browns gave Deshaun Watson the fully guaranteed? It's not because it sets a precedent for fully guaranteed contracts.
Because they have to put that money in escrow.
Yes. And you have to have $240 million that you set aside and you can't touch it. And while these people are billionaires, I'm telling you, putting 200, they're not, look, most rich people aren't super liquid. And we have the one owner. That's why the owners got pissed, because they know that every time that someone signs $100 million guaranteed, that the actual owner has to put that money in a pot. And the reason the NFL has that is because one time an owner is going to guarantee some money and they're not going to be able to pay it. And then the rest of the ownership group is going to have to foot the bill, or else it's going to bring an entire stain on the NFL. Mm-hmm. We have one of the few owners that can put $300 million off to the side and it not affect his bottom line.
Good point. Yeah.
That's why I'm saying is that I think that's part of the reason the Ravens haven't given him the deal, is because partially they can't afford it. And I'm not entirely certain on that, but I have heard Brady Quinn talk about Joe Burrow and the Bengals being problematic here, is that the owner just simply doesn't have the money to put $200 million off to the side and not touch it. So that gives us, and I know it's a pipe dream. I understand, but that's what I want. And I'm telling you, if you saw that throw that mug made last night,
you'd pay it. You'd pay that money.
That the fumble throw. Did you see the one where he fumbled the ball? He picks it up. He runs to the sidelines and basically threw a pass that was farther than PJ Walker's on the fucking money. The problem was the guy didn't catch it.
Can you tag and then trade a player?
Yes.
Okay.
So those are all things there. It's like what, and I want you to go, Cody. Well, we're not going to go. We'll save this for another discussion because I don't want to go down too far the rabbit hole. But if you were willing to give an entire draft class up for Trevor Lawrence, what would you be willing to give up for Lamar? All right. Next part here is now, who do you want to be your coaching quarterback? And then let's go to the player coach that we want, because we need to keep this show moving. We had such a great pace. Man, we were kicking ass.
What do you want me to answer?
Coaching quarterback next year. The original question from Tyler and Spruce Springs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where he's from.
Answer that question, because I took you guys on the Lamar hunt. That's me, though, and I really want it. I want Lamar Jackson and Greg Roman. That's my answer.
So I take that.
Yeah. You and a bunch of other people. A lot of people want that.
No one else has ever said it but me.
Oh, give me a break. Twitter's already.
You're right. You're the only person in the world.
Every time. No, that's bullshit. Every time Lamar does it, maybe on this podcast.
On this panel.
Every time Lamar does anything on
and
Twitter
Greg Roman
or Instagram, everybody's freaking out over Lamar being a Panther. And I get it, man. The dude's exceptional.
No one's doing this. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I feel like I'm on the edge. I don't make a lot of good points like you do, Cody. Well, actually, I make a lot of good points, but I don't make these like edgy, you know what I'm saying, like controversial ones. This is my take, man. I own this Lamar Jackson, Greg Roman combo, just like you own the Bill O'Brien.
Dude. Have it, dude.
You own that combo, but I do remember bringing up Lamar Jackson a few weeks ago because Sean from the Vintage Sofa Bar actually put that a little bug in my ear, and I thought about that. And I remember bringing it because of that. But yeah,
go back to the tape. I brought it up a couple of weeks ago. And like, look, Cody's just mad because his Mr. Molester man.
How about this? You want to move the show along, and I haven't even gotten to answer the question for 20 minutes ago. How about this? My quarterback coach combo. You're dead wrong on Dorsey, man. You're just looking at Josh Allen and going, oh, well, it's Josh Allen, and therefore that's why that offense works so well. Listen, if you want to on the young, upcoming offensive minds in the NFL, that's who Dorsey is. They come up with fantastic concepts. He's good with getting receivers open, and he has that Carolina history before. More importantly, Tony, other than just saying the talent that Buffalo has, you can't really name a reason for why Ken Dorsey shouldn't be the guy.
False. It has nothing to do with it. False.
Let me finish my statement.
That's false. Then, you just made an accusation, and I can say false.
Oh, what? Okay, what does he do from an X's and O's standpoint that says that he's not one of the better offensive minds in the NFL?
You ready?
Nope, not yet. Oh, not yet. I haven't mentioned my quarterback yet. My quarterback, you already know who it is. I'm not even saying it's going to happen, but you already know who I want. I think
Trevor Lawrence
has every bit of talent that he needs to have in order to be a franchise quarterback.
So you would
I believe he has the arm talent. I believe he has the mobility.
Well,
I would like to see him with a guy like that.
So just so I'm getting right, Cody, you got Dorsey and Corral. I've got Moore and Hooker. Tony, you've got Roman and Jackson, and CK, you've got Dorsey and who?
No, he's got Stroud and
Dorsey.
Okay,
Stroud and Dorsey.
Okay.
Here my
poll with these.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My hate for Ken Dorsey has nothing to do with the fact that he has. Well, it has something to do. I think this is that having Josh Allen on an offense that has been cooking for 3 years in a row is like, I'm not ready to crown him yet. Right? He's got 6-7 games in. They actually have not been rock solid throughout all of those games, but okay. No, I agree. Like, they've been cooking. But here's the thing is Dabo was cooking last year, and he has had a quarterback. My problem with Ken Dorsey goes back to this, is that I heard all y'all motherfuckers, not y'all. This is how I tell my class this, is every time I do this, like, all y'all suck thing, I go, not y'all in this room, all those people out there. All my other students, not y'all. Y'all are fine. All my other students. Do you know how much y'all talk shit about Mike Shula and Cam Newton's development between 2013, 14, all of those years? And guess who the quarterback coach was Ken Dorsey. And I would argue this. If he is the guru, the awesome that you told me, I almost would expect Cam to have been better. And so that is my reason. No, it's like, look, Cam's mechanics, his footwork, all of this, all the things that people told us they were working on. And then the Cam haters told us they didn't get better. Well, Ken Dorsey was a quarterback coach then. That's it.
Yeah, but now I'm about to sound like Greg. What is the coach supposed to go out and make the throws and make the plays for the players?
Is it great evidence though? What I'm saying is you asked for evidence, and that is my evidence.
No, but that's circumstantial. That's not evidence. Like again, I said from an X's and O's perspective, what can you say about Ken Dorsey that says that he isn't the man for the job?
Well, so that's a ridiculous question.
But
you know what? Is that he should have ran a drag route when he wrote a post. He should have.
I can tell you why
they lost to the Jets. They lost to the Jets. I
can tell you why Greg Roman's not the guy from an X's and O's perspective. Greg Roman is dependent upon a highly mobile running quarterback. When has he ever had a good offense that didn't have one of those, Tony? Oh, that's right. You can't name one. So
how about this? When has Greg Roman had a bad offense? When has Greg Roman had a bad?
You've got to you just use the fact that they just won against the Jets, or the Jets beat the Bills, as a reason not to hire Ken Dorsey. Lamar and Greg Roman lost to the Jets.
Yeah.
No, he said an X and O standpoint, which is a ridiculous question. It's like this: should he have been better on 3rd and 6? Like, that's a ridiculous question. And on top of that, tell me a Greg Roman offense that's been bad.
Tell me, this is the first time.
No, just tell me one of his offenses that was bad.
Can I throw mine in there too?
Look, now he's scrambling because here's the thing.
No, your offensive coordinator is dependent upon generational.
He's not dependent. He's using what he has. He's using what he has at his disposal.
Who did he have before he had Jackson?
Great question.
Colin Kaepernick, he had for a little while. He had so he was the guy that was behind Colin Kaepernick when they went to the Super Bowl. With the 49ers, and Kaepernick had.
He made Kaepernick great.
I was going to say Kaepernick was a good quarterback, but he wasn't a generational talent.
No, what I'm saying is how about what I mean is as a running quarterback, like Colin Kaepernick was 235 pounds. Like you don't just teach someone to do that. That's the point that I'm trying to make. He is dependent.
You cannot say that shit when he's never had
like a running back.
You cannot say. Tell me an offense that he's had that was bad.
Well, I don't have his entire.
Wait! I got to give you an X and O standpoint. You said he's dependent on a mobile quarterback. No, he had mobile quarterbacks. He had mobile.
He can do it without one. You have no evidence that he can do it without one. If I have no evidence that
you don't have any evidence that Ken Dorsey can do it without one. He's only had Cam as a quarterback coach and the guy that you say is Cam 2.0. That's not fair. That's a straw man argument to tell me he hasn't done it with a mobile.
Wasn't Cam Newton putting up the best numbers of his career in 2018 before that injury up in Pittsburgh? Took his shoulder back out the rest of the way.
And that was Norv Turner. No, Ken Dorsey, I don't think was the quarterback's coach anymore. I don't think he was there anymore.
Quarterback's coach.
Not anymore in 2017.
So wait, you're already. So you're saying that Ken Dorsey was gone by that point, but he was there for the 2015 season, right?
I just know is he was there on the 2014 season.
And you don't
he was there on the 2016 season. I'm telling you this is that Cam Newton's best season as a non-mobile quarterback, which you need, was Norv Turner, bro. It had nothing to do with Ken Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey wasn't here in 2018.
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
I mean, I'm just saying. Look, Tony,
No, I'm telling you. You told me that. No, I'm mad about this. You have got Greg Roman slander on your mind.
Coach. Once upon a time, Sean McVay was an unproven upstart offensive head coach.
Remember how he told us Joe Brady was going to have the biggest dick in the history of the football?
Even an offensive coordinator.
Do you remember how he told us that he should be head coach, guys?
Who?
Cody used to tell us that Joe Brady should be the next head coach. Yes, you. Oh,
now you're just making shit up.
Well, not our head coach, but you were saying that he should.
On March 26th, Dorsey was hired to soar. All right, so here, all right, look, here's what Ken Dorsey's done. On August 15th, 2011, he was hired by the Carolina Panthers as a pro scout. During the 2011 season, Dorsey was an IMG employee who trained NFL quarterbacks Cam Newton, Christian Ponder, Joe Webb, and wide receiver Randall Cobb. On January 23rd, 2013, Dorsey became part of the Panthers coaching staff and was hired as their quarterback's coach. He was part of the 2015 season, but it looks like he was fired after 2016. So he wasn't part of that Norv Turner part.
Oh, so he was just a part of 2015.
Okay. But was all right. Again, you could go back to the running staff. You told me that Greg Roman was so awesome or so terrible because he only had mobile quarterbacks. I don't know if you remember 2015, but Cam Newton slayed on the ground. February 2019, he was hired as the Buffalo Bills of 2019. In 2019, he joined the Bills. I'm telling you this. Is y'all told me that Joe Brady was the next coming. I'm telling you this is Greg Roman. You are trying to tell me don't be interested in Greg Roman because he's never done it with a non-mobile quarterback. I'm telling you this is that homeboy, your boy, is only called plays for 8 games.
And he's already looking like a much better candidate than Greg Roman did.
Why?
Because I have no reason to believe that.
Why does he look better right now?
Quarterback. Because I already told you the 2015.
Why do you believe Ken Dorsey can?
What Josh Allen and that offense is doing right now.
Oh, you mean like Lamar with no weapons for the last 3 years has done nothing? An MVP?
Go around the
no, because you are the most stubborn person I've ever met.
I'm not even the only one that chose Dorsey.
You might legitimately be the most stubborn person I've ever met in my life.
But to say that Greg Roman, I mean, here's the thing, and to play devil's advocate on both sides of this, I think it's okay to say both could be good candidates for head coaching position, right? Yeah. Like, can we not say that? I mean, Tony, I know you like. If
Greg Roman's had more experience, bro. He's had more. Look, he's been an offensive coordinator under 2 regimes and been successful. 2 regimes and been successful. And you guys are telling me a guy who's called plays for 8 games should be considered ahead of him.
Well, my issue is if he's been an offensive coordinator and successfully been an offensive coordinator for 2 regimes, why hasn't he been a head coach yet?
Well, he was a top name 2 years ago. When Joe Brady was. Well, why isn't Joe Brady like? Why isn't Bieniemy?
Hold on. This part is where I'm going to challenge you a little bit because Bieniemy is also a part of this conversation, and he should also, if we're going based off of the success of their offenses, Bieniemy should be a head coach already, and Greg Roman should be a head coach already. There's a reason those guys are not head coaches yet, and you can't ignore that.
Bieniemy's not been the full-time play caller.
Roman needs a Harbaugh. How about that? Roman needs a Harbaugh.
Why?
Just like
Why
he
do
did
you
in
believe
San Francisco, because he did in San Francisco, and he's doing it now in
Why do you believe that? Because you said it. Because Cody says shit, it's true.
And look who we had in Baltimore. He's been under a Harbaugh head coach, and the Harbaughs.
Well, you know what is Ken Dorsey needs a Cam Newton, he needs a Josh Allen, he needs a Sean McDermott, and a Ron Rivera. Then.
Okay, maybe
no, it's like because you believe it, it's true.
There's no reason for him over Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy has a much better case than Greg Roman. Much better. Much better, man.
To Cody's point, the successes of the Andy Reid coaching tree are far more evident than the Harbaughs.
Well, let's look them up. Let's look up those coaching trees. CK, you said that. You got to back it up.
All right.
Because there is a coaching tree website, so you can type them and just look at. All right, let's go to the next call. This is 2 weeks in a row I want to kill Cody.
Calling in. I
and you never
just wanted to call quick to see what you guys thought about the report that came out that basically we rejected a combined 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick for Brian Burns and DJ Moore total. We could have turned Burns ended up that was going to be two first-rounders in the future and a second-rounder in 23, and then a first-round pick was offered to us for DJ Moore by the Packers, I believe. So we could have had 3 more first-round picks and a second-round pick. Again, I've been saying since preseason week 1 when I called in that we should blow this thing up. We just aren't that good. Look at the results in the field. Look at the teams in the NFL that we're going up against, and the talent level just isn't there. We have some good players, but no quarterback. Overall talent, not that great. I think we try to sugarcoat it, but the reality is we'd be better off as draft picks. I think Fitterer made a big mistake there. And I love Burns and Moore, but reality is it's time to flip this thing. So in saying that, I was looking at the schedule, and I'm a little concerned with the back end here. Of course, I'm wanting us to lose out to get a number 1 or number 2 pick at this point, but we do play the Steelers and the Lions towards the back end of the schedule, and I am a little nervous we might win a couple of those games and get us out of the top 3. I think if we can get a top 3 pick, we'll be fine. We can get Young, the quarterback from Bama, the quarterback Stroud from Ohio State, or the quarterback Levis from Kentucky, who I actually think is probably the best quarterback prospect. I know that's against what most people are saying, but that kid is really good and has mobility, great arm, would be a great prospect. So anyway, curious on your thoughts on passing up the 3 first rounders and a second pick for Moore and Burns. I think we should have done it, and it's a strike against Fitterer.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, and again goes back to the questions is with contractually with DJ Moore, but really with Burns, it's what do you do with the picks? What do you do with the picks in the future, and also what do you do with Burns now? I'm gonna say this: I'm right on this one, and I usually am okay with like letting go on something. But I've gotten angry over this one, Cody.
Yeah, I don't even try. You don't get me angry because I'm as cool as a cucumber. But notice how easy it is for me to piss you off. Oh, baby. Because I got it like that.
And so remember, my son is welcome. White chocolate, welcome to the family, baby.
All right. So here's what I'll tell you about the coaching tree situation.
What if Harbaugh is from it? Is that true?
So their number 1 is John Harbaugh, is coming from the Andy Reid coaching tree. Okay. Doug Peterson, Ron Rivera, Sean McDermott. Those are the top 4. Okay. The top 4 for John Harbaugh are Rex Ryan, Hugh Jackson.
No. You cannot put Rex Ryan on John Harbaugh. His dad was Buddy Ryan, was the coach of the Jets. No.
These are the best names. This is the best names under him. Like that's what I'm trying to give you. These are the best names. So you want to put Rex Ryan?
Which Harbaugh?
John. This is Jim has 0. Like 0.
Roman has been under both of them.
Well, again, what I'm talking about is head coaches.
Okay.
Like what my point is to expressly show the successes of head coaches under their coaching trees. Andy
Reid's
Reid
been coaching for over 30 years, dude.
But he's got a track record of having great coaches that are currently coaching as head coaches.
Who's the greatest one?
Right now, it's
Harbaugh. So you're trying to tell me the Harbaugh tree sucks because Harbaugh is the best one?
No, look at
Don't tell me Ron Rivera is the fucking... Cody wanted to fire Ron Rivera.
But I mean, you can't argue with 2 head coaches of the year. Like, I mean, the dudes, you can't say anything about his success. I mean, his success is a success. And then you also have Chuck Pagano and Jim Caldwell. Those are the most notable coaching trees for the Harbaughs.
Caldwell took a team deep. Caldwell was legit. He took over with somebody with cancer. Bruce Arians, maybe. Which one? Caldwell won the Super Bowl or something, didn't he? Or was that the Andrew Luck year that
was Chuck Pagano, and they didn't go to the Super Bowl. Chuck Pagano had cancer, and Bruce Arians took over for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't, you know what, I don't find this argument as compelling when you're using Harbaugh against the Harbaugh tree.
What do you mean?
Your number one name on the list was the guy that I am talking about being the tree starter.
But it's two separate arguments though. Like that's the I don't understand why you have a
Are there
concern
any
about
bad names under the Andy Reid tree?
Sure. I mean, they're
okay. Let's talk about them then.
This is his top 10. Okay. At least according to this
Where
website.
is G Baby?
John Harbaugh, Doug Peterson, Ron Rivera, Sean McDermott, Brad Childress, Matt Nagy, Leslie Frazier, Todd Bowles, Pat Shurmur, Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad names on that list too.
But Reid probably has one of the most infamous coaching trees that there is. I mean, look at all of the good
because of the
players that have
Harbaughs
come out from under him.
Who's the best name other than Harbaugh on that list?
Hey, how about? I mean, he hasn't won the Super Bowl.
Who's the best name?
How about Sean McDermott?
Could you actually say he's really under the
Sean McDermott
Rivera
gets a paid-for team every year, man. Come
And
on,
is
dude.
he under
Even
the
this year,
Rivera
last year.
Oh, Greg, you gotta stop right there.
Sean McDermott had the best Panthers defense that we've ever had.
He went to a Bills team with a horrible history. He had nobody on his. He had Nathan Peterson as his best quarterback.
I confused Sean McDermott with Sean McVay. That's my apologies.
Gotcha. I was like, wait a minute.
Y'all are absolutely right.
No, and I don't like this. Is what was Sean McDermott under Andy Reid? Like, if he's a ball boy, he's really his tree. You're starting the tree too early then.
But even still,
McDermott was a defensive when he had his first major job. It's under Rivera.
Okay, but then what happens is people bring you along, right?
Right.
Just like what's happening.
You hate Ron Rivera.
He was a quarterback coach. Oh, I hate Ron Rivera. It was time to move on from him. See, Tony, the only in an argument.
Why do you hate Greg Roman?
In my mouth. That's the only way you can do it. I don't hate Ron Rivera. It was time to move on from Ron Rivera.
Yes, you do.
And by the way,
Ron
the
Rivera.
same thing that you're describing is what's happening with Ken Dorsey right now. Ken Dorsey was a quarterback's coach. Then he got elevated to offensive coordinator. And then
that's what Sean McDermott did. That's what. Let's read those. Hold on.
Then he goes to a defensive coordinator, and now he's a head coach, and now he's balling the fuck out.
Name one quarterback coach that became an offensive coordinator that became good under Andy Reid.
Dude,
because here you just gave me 3 or 4 names, and they're all defensive play. They're all defensive. Harbaugh is a special teams guy. Ron Rivera is a defensive guy. Sean McDermott's a defensive guy. You're trying to tell me the best coaches that Andy Reid has ever produced are not offensive.
Right.
Fair point.
So how about that, Cody?
Can I ask
didn't we say that the Harbaughs were under?
They're not offensive coaches.
No.
Only one of them is. And by the way, Greg Roman was his offensive coordinator. So I don't even want to hear that shit.
There's still yet to prove that Greg Roman can ever run an offense without a mobile quarterback.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, he's not. Do you remember when you told Malik Willis that you told me to not say that Malik Willis could not be a quarterback because they didn't ask him to do something? Well, guess what? Greg Roman has never been an offensive coordinator in a non-mobile quarterback. Yes, when has he ever failed with a non-mobile quarterback? You named that
pay
time.
A man to be our head coach and have him do something that he's never done before.
Let me ask you something.
Ken Dorsey?
Who has Ken Dorsey had as his quarterbacks as an offensive coordinator? Who has he had?
So we know Cam Newton and Josh Allen.
That's it.
That's a running quarterback.
That's fucking it, bitch.
Who's he got right now? Who's he got right now?
Ken Dorsey's got Josh Allen.
Who's he got right now? Josh Allen, who, by the way, is the number 2. He may be a pass Jackson. Go look this up. It's kind of crazy. He may be the number 2 rushing quarterback in the NFL this year. So can we say that Ken Dorsey can do anything without a rushing quarterback? Can't you?
I know. That's my point. I've been saying that.
Yeah.
I've been saying that. Let's go to the next call. No, you're going to give me all these butts and shits, and that's all fake, bro.
Great passer. Lamar Jackson's a great passer. He throws the ball really well. Come on, man.
Who was?
Okay.
Who was?
Who's a better passer, Cam Newton or Colin Kaepernick? Cam Newton, right?
Well, first of all, I would say, but guess what? Both of them went to a Super Bowl. Both of them went to a Super Bowl. So what does it matter? So what does it matter, though? Both of them went to a Super Bowl. Has Josh Allen been to a Super Bowl? I mean, remind me that.
Better passer, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
I actually think that's a wash, bro. I think Lamar, bro. I will take Lamar over Josh Allen. I'd take Lamar over Josh Allen.
No, that's dumb.
Josh Allen's also got
dude. Lamar doesn't have any weapons.
Patrick Mahomes are like number 1 and number 2.
All right, next call. Next call. That's bullshit. That's some. You're right. Guess what? All the shit you used to talk about Josh Allen when he sucked because he didn't have weapons, and then you put weapons around him and he's good. Tell me Lamar Jackson's weapons.
Shit about Josh Allen. I was never.
No, tell me how he was his
Josh
first 2 years until he got Stephon Diggs. You said he wasn't the player he is now because he didn't have any weapons. And once you put weapons around him, and that's a credit to what Sean McDermott learned in Carolina. But I'm telling you, Lamar won the MVP with nobody. And guess what? He's at 6-3. They probably have the same record right now. They probably have the same fucking record, and he has nobody. Likely is his best player.
Lamar has almost 1,800 yards and 16 touchdowns. Josh Allen has 2,400 yards and 19 touchdowns. So
and look at their rushing yards. They don't run the ball. And
close.
Look, we're going to the next call.
Yeah.
Going next call. I'm so mad about this. Next call.
Why you mad, homie?
Yo, C3.
You're stubborn.
Why you mad?
I'm gonna be honest. I think what was probably the worst part about the game for me yesterday when I was there was outside of the fact that it was probably the worst first half experience of any game I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I wore my DJ Moore jersey. DJ Moore's my favorite player. I've always defended him. Why we drafted him over Calvin Ridley. He's by far my favorite player. I feel like he's elite or close to. And I noticed like 6 minutes before the second half started, he came out the locker room. Like he was just walking by himself with the towel over his head. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's him. And it was, and he just sat on the bench, like by himself. He looked defeated, and I felt so bad because he's my favorite player, and I feel like he is like a really good player, and is by far our most underrated. And like I can't believe people actually believe like sometimes like he's just like not worthy. Like we should have traded him or something. Like to me, that blows my mind. I feel like he's by far like our most legit player, our most proven player so far. And yeah, so that was probably my like least favorite part of the whole game, honestly. Yeah. Oh yeah, never forget. Cody said Demir Bird was worse than Shi Smith, and he also said P.J. Walker and Matt Cross should be the starters next year. Tony D, can you please play that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard? That's my favorite part of this show sometimes. That'd be having me laughing so much. But yeah, I'm going to just keep pounding. I'll fuck with y'all, C3.
Your call was great, but look, right on time. Right on time for the temperature of this discussion. And what we're going to go ahead and say is this. What Cody's talked about for the last 45 minutes.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Unfazed, bro. Unfazed. See, if you're gonna be me, you have to be unfazed, man. Because I'm used to everybody being like, "Oh, Cody, you're such a
I mean,
all right, dude. I let my takes live. Look, I let my takes live, and then down the road, we're gonna
right
see
when I
who's
want
right
to try to
wrong.
be makeup. Right when I try to make up, he does this shit, Greg.
Nah. More fun this way.
That's how you know it's a good marriage. You know?
You fucking love me. Shut up. Say the next one.
Namaste.
Goose Fraba.
What's up, guys? This is MJ from the East Side. What the fuck is Fat Neck Fitter doing not trading Burns for 2 firsts and a second? Burns ain't shit. Oh, he's a one-trick pony. Can't get done with this fact. This is what I'm saying. Absolutely insane. Who the fuck do you think you are? Build for the future, dummy. And trade more to the damn Packers. That's going to be a top 10 pick. We could have been set up for the next future for all these draft picks. Damn, we were run by absolute fucking retards. Absolute fucking retards. It's a never-ending cycle. And God damn it, I'm sick of it. Great show, fellas. Talk to you soon.
Hey, he's not wrong by any means, and we're all saying that right now, but he's also, once again, looking in hindsight, because anybody who's calling, and even us discussing it right now, 2 weeks after the trade deadline saying this, we're all looking in hindsight. Because 2 weeks ago, nobody was saying that.
True. Well, how about this is that I do
ago.
think there is a conversation to be had, and it hurts to say it aloud, and it hurts when you talk about your best players in a negative light. Right, is Brian Burns is a top 3 player on our team. You know?
Yeah.
And so to talk junk about Brian Burns feels crappy.
Right.
It just feels bad. My college team right now, Holton Ahlers, remember the guy that you said has the most badass name?
That is a badass name.
He's not the most pure passer. He's not a pure passer. But he's been the best thing we've had for 4 or 5. And people be like, Holton's, it's like he's better than everything else. Right. And my real question and the only concern I have with Burns, are we being prisoners a little bit by the fact that he's one of the better players on our team? And I don't know is Burns a guy that you can build around, or is he a guy that you add to the puzzle? And it's a hard conversation to have.
Sure.
Right. Well, the question is, once again, like we said, we've gone over this before, like what it would have been if we're getting a late first round. It's basically a second. If we're getting a first round next year, it doesn't help us right now. So does losing Brian Burns next year help us in the long run? Because I mean, we don't know what these players are going to fruit. And I actually agree with him on the Green Bay DJ Moore trade. I've seen 2 or 3 different mock drafts that have DJ Moore being traded to Green Bay draft night for their pick. And right now they're probably going to have a top 10 pick. And I love DJ Moore, but man, 2 picks in the top 10.
Dan Floyd says this. He's had a 10-sack season. He ain't overrated. I don't think he's had a 10-sack season, actually.
He's gotten close. I don't think he has.
Yeah, I think he's had 9.5. I think he's always touching the ceiling. I understand that it's just about how much you're willing to pay Brian Burns.
Yeah. And that half a sack thing is such bullshit. I hate that stat. If you can have a half a sack, then a quarterback should be able to have half an interception. If it's an interception off a tip pass or a drop pass, that should be a half a pick. Like that's
it's
bullshit,
just a
man.
question of is he gonna get top 5 money or not? And right now, people, every time I say this is like I said this to someone I said this actually at the beginning of the season, because if you go, and I'm not going to ask you to go back, but Cody, if we were looking back at the blackout slide, guess who the picture is of them, the Panthers featuring the outfit? It's Brian Burns. Like they have made him, in the wake of last year's debacle and a lot of questions on this team, they made him the face of this franchise more than anybody. They put him on the information. They put him on the pamphlets. They put him on the promos. They put him out in front of the cameras. And I thought that was a signal we were trying to extend him. I said, well, we should do it now. Just like I said, we should extend Cam before it got too expensive. And we actually did that then. We were ahead of the curve before the market got. And someone told me, oh, Brian Burns don't want to sign right now because he wants these other guys to reset the market. I don't want to sign Brian Burns in a reset market. I want to set him in a market that he's valued. I want to pay him what he's deserved, but I don't want to pay him like the reset market value just because the last guy got a lot.
Well, I want to ask too, when Tepper took over and we were changing, he wanted to immediately change Cam, like the face of the franchise for me and Cam. Didn't he go straight to CMC? And wasn't that right before we signed CMC, or was it right after? I can't remember. I don't know if that's a sign of them like putting everything out there as a player. Hey, this is going to be our next guy we sign. Because I just know that whenever Cam left, they made a big push to put CMC's face on everything. Remember? And we were talking about that change, how they were actually cutting Cam out of pictures.
Yeah,
it was stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah. Like, hey, real quick, just because I don't want to forget these. Tyler Jones with the $2 love bomb earlier donated, said my favorite show by far. Tyler, we appreciate you, brother, man. Thanks for supporting our show.
Oh, yeah.
Trey Burton said, did some Dorsey Googling. By the way, $10 love bomb from Trey Burton says, Carolina quarterback coach, 2013 to 17, prime Cam years. Bills quarterback coach, 2019 to 2021. Josh Allen's first big season was 2020. Not a long track record, but what he has
fair points.
Looks good.
Kind of like Greg Romans.
Fair point. Yeah, not bad. And not
with very similar quarterbacks.
The other thing too, I just want to remind you that Cam's best passing season was under North Turner.
But Cam, I like chocolate and you like vanilla. Okay, each one has their own merits, man.
Actually, you like vanilla,
but you pretend
I like chocolate. I want Lamar Jackson. You want Ken Dorsey.
Shut up. I'm talking about there is cases to be made for both of them. Good cases, and there are some other cases where you're like, I don't quite know yet. Point being, Ken Dorsey is just as good and relevant as a name as Greg Roman.
We're gonna sign Kellen Moore anyways, so it doesn't matter. Just wait and see. We'll sign Kellen.
We'll have Bill O'Brien, and we'll like.
I'm glad that nobody in here said that. Nobody said Bill O'Brien here.
I hate the idea because I don't like him. But I do like the idea, kind of like my idea is Lamar and Greg Roman. I think that the only appealing part is if you bring in a guy he's familiar with and they believe in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do think there's some appeal to that. But Bill O'Brien, I'd rather sign Frank, well, which we got to ask. We haven't even talked about the Saturday stuff. We got to work that in after this call.
What's up, C3?
Only two more calls.
Anthony from Charlotte. Well, we got a quick turnaround this week at Atlanta. Guys, I don't like being harsh. I wish I could just call in and be like, talk about stuff to be excited, but this team now just isn't the time. But if there's any resemblance of hope, we got to win this week at home. Like, we got to win this week at home. And it starts with coaching. It starts from Wilkes to the quarterback to everything. If we want to win, if we want to have a chance at anything, and I have been one of the biggest Debbie Downers, but to shut me up, we need to win this week. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad if we did. But yeah, that's all I got to say. And there's not much else to talk about right now in Panthers country, but C3, you already know the vibes. Keep on pounding, baby.
Good call.
That is the sound of
Appreciate
hope.
You, Anthony.
Right there is what that is. The sound of hope.
That's crazy. It's like the only
so,
one.
You want to bring up this poll we got.
Yeah.
So I
I'm
put
getting
all of
smashed.
our head coach. Yeah, which is surprising. I thought I'd be in dead last. Close. I mean, we're
Ken
close
Dorsey.
here.
All the Panther fans love him because he has some connection to Carolina.
So yeah, but 7. So I put all of our coach quarterback combos in the chat. That poll's still open. If you would like to participate, 36 votes. Then I saw some other people that was like, I don't like any of them. But anyway, right now the leader at 33% is CK's choice with Ken Dorsey and CJ Stroud. Next up at 30%, Tony's choice with Greg Roman and Lamar Jackson. And at third place is mine with Ken Dorsey and Matt Corral. And Greg at 16% with Kellen Moore and Hendon Hooker.
The caboose is important, y'all. I'm telling y'all.
Kellen Moore has done an excellent job.
I think he has too. I
really am interested in him as a candidate. Not for, and I don't know if it's for us, but like he deserves to get talk,
right?
Like what they've done. So, all right, let's go to the next. Let's go to the next call. You guys, I want your Saturday takes after this.
Hey guys, it's the growl that makes him howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther. And I have a question about, or not a question. Y'all were asking, do you believe in the curse of the black uniforms and whatnot? And well, I could go with the fact that I can't see them. I'm not going to do it because there is a curse that I actually do believe in. And it's the curse of the soft drink. You see, ever since we changed our official fan refreshment from Pepsi to Coke, we have not been good. We have been shitty ever since we went from Pepsi to Coke.
Pepsi's born in the Carolinas.
I don't know if anyone's ever thought of that, but I guess you're thinking of it now. I've noticed that, and not that Coke is bad. Coke is tasty. I love Coke. I love Pepsi. Matter of fact, I'm in love with the Coco. Yeah. But, first of all, the reason I think of for the curse is that, Coca-Cola is from Atlanta. It's their pride and joy. So why would we make their pride and joy our official fan refreshment?
Money.
Because it's better
than the way I think about Atlanta, and I want you to say this with me. Fuck Atlanta. Fuck Atlanta. So, yeah. I'm actually going to that game on Thursday night right after work. I don't have to work Friday because it's Veterans Day. Yeah, I got my job back. So excited about that. Anyway, guys. Oh, I'm not yet. I'm just, so excited for that game. I just joined the Roaring Riot, 2 weeks ago. Me and my dad. So now we can go to the tailgate. We're going to go to the tailgate, eat a bunch of Bojangles, drink a bunch of beer, cuss a bunch about Atlanta, then go watch the game, then drink more beer, then cuss more about Atlanta while we're at the game. It's going to be so much fun. And I'm even wearing some black pants. I have my lucky shirt that I wore to the Tampa Bay game that I'm going to wear, which is blue, and I have a teal Roaring Riot patch for it, but so excited, can't wait. I've never been to a primetime game. Anyway, guys, this time it's happening. Wow.
Thank you for your call, Joey the Blind Panther. You might be the only person that joined the Roaring Riot mid-season this year. And think about that. They must be. You know what? They should celebrate Joey the Blind Panther more than anybody.
Yeah, that should be a big part of their.
I'm gonna email Zach. I'm gonna message Zach and tell him about this. The question I have for you guys, which this is how ridiculous this podcast is. We were making the best pace on topics. I wrote it in the private chat 3 times before 10 o'clock.
I'll tell you exactly what happened. Go ahead.
We were pushing through these topics.
Yeah, Tony happened.
We were pushing through these topics so methodically and quickly. But this is how ridiculous this longest running podcast, which is literally the longest podcast in Panther Nation. what I thought was the lead story and lead question, central question on this show is not getting asked till 11:49 at night.
And there's still 2 questions left. So
and that is
which one you want.
Who is the Carolina? All right, so the Indianapolis Colts fired former Carolina Panther, the first starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers ever, Frank Wright. They fired him, who's had a winning record as a coach. They fired him midseason, even though just 2 weeks ago they said they wouldn't fire him before the season was over. Jim Irsay has never fired a coach midseason before in the history of his whatever he's owned the team. And they appointed an interim coach, and that interim coach has caused a stir. His name is Jeff Saturday. He's the former center. Someone look up if he is in the Hall of Fame or if he's...
No, he's just in their Ring of Honor.
Okay. But he is he was the center for Peyton Manning. They always say that the center is the smartest guy on the field, right? The offensive linemen are supposedly the smartest men on the field. Jeff Saturday was made a head coach, and it caused a stir because he's the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, and he's never coached before other than a high school team, which he had a below 500 record with. I'm not as upset. The internet, the world has gotten so upset that this is set back. It's institutional racism. It's all of these different things. Jeff Saturday, if you guys want to comment on it, you can comment on it. But what I was interested in, what it made me think of, is who would we be happy with if we were to name a head coach who was a former player, kind of in the Jeff Saturday range. And I would say, do you think that the world would be upset if this name was Peyton Manning instead of Saturday?
No.
Do you think they would have gone, oh my God, he hasn't done it? I think they would have been fine with Peyton Manning. I think it's...
Yeah, I mean, can I say the outrage is absolutely asinine, right? I mean, here's the thing. I think you can have a gripe with the Flores stuff and the Steve Wilkes stuff, 100%.
Sure.
I'm on board with that. I think that they got an unfair treatment. I think that Steve Wilkes is, in my opinion, Steve Wilkes is probably the one that's more egregious, that he only got one single year as a head coach, and he got fired. But this situation is, a lot of people were saying like he passed up other qualified
it's
people.
Not true.
He passed up every other qualified person, like every single one of them. He passed up John Fox. He passed up every single other potential opportunity that has had a head coaching or even any coaching experience in the NFL for this Saturday guy, right? So you can't put that. He's also the one who hired Tony Dungy, who won them their Super Bowl, right? I mean, I don't like to put that. I have a worry because it's something that I have an immense amount of respect for as far as the movement to try to create equality in the world, right? But I feel like when you start to say that all, like even something like this, I feel like you dilute when there's a real issue. Yes. I don't think this is a real issue. I feel like that's like doing this is basically going to make people look at this and say, like, what can you not do anything? Like, I think that you got to keep in mind, like, this is an interim job. There isn't a goal. There isn't a rule in place that states they have to do anything in particular. So he's got a guy who has been the center. He probably called up Peyton Manning first. Let's be real about it. And Jeff Saturday is going to know that offense more than anybody. He's probably got a great brain on him. So I have a hard time trying to connect those dots. You feel free, but I think it's fair to have an opinion that contradicts that. My concern is mainly for this movement that I tremendously respect, because I really believe that there needs to be something done in society to make to bring equality into something, or at least get as close to equality as we possibly can in our lifetime. But I just don't know that this is one of those things that that's a fight that makes a lot of sense.
The problem with this is people have their version of equality incorrect. Like, equality doesn't mean that you have an equal number of races in every position, because that's never going to happen anywhere. And if you're going to make that argument, I can make the argument for the players. There's way more people of color that are players than there are white players. Okay, so we can make these arguments all day long, but it's a dumb argument because you're never going to change anybody's mind. But the bottom line is equality is the best person for the job being awarded that job. That's equality. It's not about race. It's not about anything else. It's the best person for the job.
Right.
Now, with that being said, these people who are owners, owning their own business, have the opportunity to hire whoever they want to because they own their team. Now,
but that doesn't mean that
it may not be right. It may not be
kind of
right,
missing the
but you
point
have-
here. Can we feature Greg a little bit? I hate how he's under the comments. Just
it may not be right, but you have that opportunity, okay? And here's the thing. Anybody of any race and any person, if you have an opportunity and you have a favoritism toward people you've worked with before, you're not going to put anything else but that in your mind when you hire somebody. It's going to happen. No matter who you are, you're going to hire people you trust and people you think can do the job well. You may be wrong, but you have the right to do that.
There's one thing, though, that... Look, I mean, in some ways, you're making a lot of good points, right? Is like, what is equity versus equality? These questions. The other is that we also know rubbing elbows with people is very important, how you move up in life. And so, like, obviously, this guy has a really good relationship with the owner, and that has something to do with it. He was also part of the golden age of this, but like my bastard son brings up, is Reggie Wayne's on the staff. But I want to bring up a couple of points of this, is that if you put Reggie Wayne in this position, this is another cool name. I just pulled up their staff. Reggie Wayne is his first year right now as a coach.
Yeah.
And he is a wide receiver coach.
He might not have wanted that responsibility.
Right.
Like I said, there's so much stuff that we don't know that that's the reason it's dangerous to throw Irsay in this fire.
Well, Irsay is kind of ridiculous in his own way, like a ridiculous billionaire. So we'll get onto that. But there's another cool name on this staff who is black, who is a former Panther, Mike Mitchell, who only played a year or two with us. But here's the point about this is if you put, and this is my little bit of my concern with Steve Wilkes being named interim, is that you put them in untenable situations.
Right.
And it actually makes them look like they're not competent at their jobs when they're in impossible situations. So the one thing, though, that people are upset about, and ultimately, Greg, and this is where kind of there's a nuance that I think your discussion kind of overlooked a little bit, and that is that the idea is that people like, if, say, Reggie Wayne, or even say this guy who I don't know who he is his name is on the staff. He's the assistant. Hold on. I saw a guy who had a lot of experience who's black. 29. Richard Howe. Well, he's a strength and conditioning camp. Defensive back coach Ron Millis has 32 years experience as coaching. It says. But my point is this: is that the people that are people that do believe that this is emblematic of institutional racism say this: it's not the fact that we don't understand that these relationships and rubbing elbows matter. It's the idea is that black people or minorities have to prove more before they get the opportunity. And then this guy hasn't proved anything, and he gets ushered in. Ultimately, I think there would be, I just think this is like, I wouldn't, if he works out, that would be the most ridiculous part of this.
Yeah.
So here's,
like if it actually works. And I will say this one last point before I give you the mic is there's one reason, there's one guy who has head coaching experience on this staff, who has had offensive play calling experience on this staff, and who is a minority. And his name is Scotty Montgomery, and he should not get the job. He's the worst fucking coach in the history of the world. He destroyed my alma mater's program at East Carolina. He fucking sucks. That's it.
So here's the thing: is none of your points are things that I disagree with. What I disagree with is that he passed up all the white people on his staff too. Like there's plenty of people with that same experience, right? So to say that it was
Right.
Like that's what I'm saying.
This is kind of unprecedented in a way.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. There isn't a precedent that is like the some of the guys in the creator chat were saying, you know, that this was anytime that they've only ever given white players that with no experience coaching an opportunity like this. I'm like, nobody's ever gotten an opportunity like this. This
outside the organization. Has there ever been a time you've gone outside the organization entirely, like who you never promoted from within? I mean, people were trying to tell us earlier that Wilkes is going to bring in some good dudes. No, he's just going to move people around inside.
And by the way, to add to this conversation, their GM, Chris Ballard, is pretty much that what they've done over the past few years and the quarterback contracts that they've given out. This organization is not necessarily known for making really smart decisions. So I don't
Not
think.
lately, at least.
I mean,
Not lately,
how about
right.
this? I think if you're talking about the Colts, the fact that they would even hire someone that doesn't have the experience at the head coaching position, dude, that's a big time gamble. And as far as I was concerned, the name interim is still behind his head coaching title.
Oh yeah, totally.
So yeah, I mean,
if he gets the job next year, wouldn't that be the most ridiculous thing you ever heard? In a way, imagine him doing what it took to actually earn the job. That would be incredible. Yeah. The other thing is this, isn't there some irony in the fact that Jim Irsay is kind of leading the charge against Dan Snyder? And then he goes and does like basically, this was almost, I feel like a PR. I don't know. It's kind of like, but here, let's turn it to the Carolina Panthers.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Who is the player
I got one
that you would name as the head coach that's not named Luke Kuechly? And look, I'm gonna move Greg to my.
I got you.
Thank you.
Oh, I got one.
I did something wrong, bro. I changed something, maybe. Who you got, Greg?
Mine is totally fandom, but I don't care. I think this guy'd be great. I've been watching him his whole career. He's been one of my favorite athletes my entire life. Bring back Julius Peppers and let him head coach his team for a year. Let's see what happens. That's my player coach.
Totally would fit the mold of not inexperienced from the coaching perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little too passive for my taste.
I don't know.
All right. CK, you got a name for us? I got a good one. You got
mine's just gonna go Steve Smith. I mean, Steve Smith is just
like we just punch every player in the face who didn't.
Dude, like
it,
he's got that energy though. Like it's like I don't know, man. If you're talking about having a leader out there, I mean, I think that Steve Smith is an undeniable leader of of any football team, and he's not going to be afraid to tell you his opinion on how you're doing.
All right. Cody?
I mean, I'm probably going to have to say G-Reg, my man Greg Olson.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that he has a good mind for the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people tend to, rally around him. You know, there's another name I was going to say too, and it's kind of, it's maybe a little further out there, but I would even like a guy like Ryan Khalil to come back.
He's too quacky. He's too much of a jokester.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, to have someone that the locker room relates to,
mm-hmm.
that's a big deal. That goes a long way.
I was trying to think of some of those names. One name, and this is not my pick. And I was like kind of looking around like Panther faithful or like old hats. Brad Hoover actually is an intern, which is, how bizarre is this? The Panthers put out a video about Brad Hoover being an intern 15 hours ago or yesterday. Like right when I was Googling him, like what has he been doing, this and that. But the answer is, Cody, move us, take that comment down. The answer is on the screen. That fly guy in the sunglasses right there, Mike Minter. He is the coach of the Campbell Camels right now, head coach, incredible defensive back. He's basically like Steve Wilkes. except for, here's one cool thing. After the NFL, when he retired, Mike Minter declared in 2009 he was considering running for the United States House of Representatives as a Republican against incumbent Larry Kissel. This guy's awesome. No, look, Mike Minter is like not only a Panther legend, he's got experience at the collegiate level. So he's got head coaching experience. And bizarre story when it comes to the C3 Panthers podcast. If you go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, you can go and find some old episodes. I used to run this series. It's very hard to keep up with it in the off season. It's hard to track these guys down all the time. But I did these interviews with former Panther players called Where's That Cat Now? Got some great ones up there from Deshaun Foster to Jason Peter, which is an incredible one. That was like 2 hours. This guy was a drug addict. I mean, it's wild. One of the best ones I ever had was with Mike Minter, and it only recorded my side of the conversation.
Oh, no.
I had him belly laughing at one point because I'm a historian, so I go back and read all the newspapers. I have access to all this stuff, and I ask them these crazy questions that they're like, how did you remember? How do you know that? I'm like, because I've read 800 newspapers over the last 3 weeks. But Mike Minter is my guy. And here, Benji Barrett brings this name up, and I want to give credit to Panther Pickle, who said this earlier. I think this is a great name, Ricky Prohl.
Yeah.
Incredible wide receivers coach. Made Kelvin Benjamin a 1,000-yard receiver. Incredible stuff. All right, we have, I think, one more call to go. And then one more question to go.
All right, so my question, my answer for the question if I had to pick a player to be interim head coach, I would probably go Steve Smith Sr. I'd probably go with him.
Fight everybody.
He's a Panther legend. He knows the Panthers. He knows what he wants. He knows exactly what he wants. He wants our team to win. So I think we need that type of person. I think we need somebody who knows the team. I think we want somebody who desperately really wants to win. I think Steve Smith, man. We got to go with Mr. Ice Up himself. All right. Y'all keep pounding, y'all. I'll be at that Thursday night game.
I'm worried he would fight everybody is one problem. I had this great question my friend asked me once, and he said, and he would be like, who would you like to have with you in a bar fight? Who would you? And one of the questions he asked is, what former Panther would you like to live with as a roommate? And it was I was trying to think. I like Cam. I also said Robbie Anderson at one point because it would be so ridiculous of an experience. But I said the last person I want to live with is Steve Smith. And I'd have to put like a deadbolt on my bedroom door. Be like, knock. What are you doing in there, Tony? What are you doing in there? Why'd you eat my cheese nips? I'd be scared and terrified my whole life. I think that, and I'm going to tell you, white chocolate espresso peanuts, I only played like 1 year with us. That don't count. And, someone brought up Jake Delhomme. We can't have Jake Delhomme being the head coach. Nobody will be able to understand him. They can barely understand his Cajun accent in the huddle. How are they going to
Favorite thing about Jake Delhomme is his accent.
All right. Okay, what is the net? We got one more topic, I hope, and then we're done. We got ice up picks, and we get out of here.
All we got left is just this.
This isn't even a topic as much as it is something interesting here. The Panthers, everybody beats us down and then goes and loses because they also suck. Right? I mean, we get beat by a bunch of sucky teams, the Browns, the Giants. Well, actually, but look, if the Falcons lost after us, but now they play us again.
Who is the best team that we've played thus far?
Ooh, good question.
Probably the Giants, huh?
No.
Maybe San Fran?
49ers.
Yeah, San Fran.
They weren't the best at that moment.
Sure.
But they were the best team probably overall. Who else have we played? We've played Giants are in the top. Yeah.
I mean, outside of their quarterback, they're the best team by a pretty large margin.
By the way, I'm starting to believe in Seattle. I believe in them now. I'm on there. I think they're real.
By the way, he's shouting out him some Ben McAdoo is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Ben McAdoo almost is undefeated when it comes to like his choices at quarterback.
Yeah. And this man likes
Cody loves it.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Is that it? That's all we got for tonight?
That's it, man.
Good God. I thought, man, we were going to be done by 11. When did it go off the rails, Greg?
Huh?
When did it go
It went off
the
the rails whenever Tyler's question of the quarterback-coach combo came up. We talked about that for like 36 minutes.
Y'all arguing about the Lamar versus Ken Dorsey versus Greg Roman.
Like I was keeping time and I was looking up. I was like, "Holy shit, we've been talking about this for like 36 minutes, guys." I was like, "We need to move on." Like it was pretty crazy.
I put that on Tony.
It almost ruined our marriage.
Tony gets so upset.
I had to calm down. No, actually, like I don't hold it against people. Like usually, I actually don't ever really like hold my opinions. I think I'm right on this one.
Listen, I'm the cool parent in this relationship.
Not true.
Okay, I'm the one that keeps my cool. You get upset irrationally for no reason.
Okay. Oh, the other thing is this: can we at least put up that pic, the slide of Robbie Anderson, real quick?
Oh yeah.
Robbie Anderson, by the way, is in Arizona. Ask him where's that bird at.
How's he doing?
He has a -4 yards as a receiver in 3 games.
Robbie.
Apparently, by the way, him and DeAndre Hopkins were getting into some shit on the sidelines. By the way,
did you see the one where Kyler Murray and DeAndre were in some like heated and he's in the background, he's just sitting on the sideline like. So awesome. The internet always wins. All right. That's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Tyler Jones is right. Cody's the stubborn wife. Totally true.
I was going to say that, but I was like, no, I don't want to offend anybody.
Wives are stubborn. Mine is.
How about this? We need to get rid of this marriage thing. It's not a marriage. I'm your asshole younger brother that is right about everything and gets all the attention, and you're the older child that gets upset about it, dude.
No, I like the marriage thing better. I like the marriage thing better.
I'm not the wife.
Because the wife is always right?
If you're still listening right now, I want to thank you personally, but we want to reward you late night partiers with the C3 Panthers podcast. If you message me either on Twitter using the hashtag C3 Afterparty, or you send me an email at carolinacatchronicles@gmail.com and you use that hashtag in the email, hashtag C3 Afterparty. We're going to put you in a drawing at the end of November for a Brian Burns jersey. That's right. We want to reward the late night warriors. Hopefully you hear this. What you got to do is hit me up on Twitter at cat_chronicles with the hashtag C3 Afterparty. Don't say anything about this jersey or else you ain't going to win it. You don't want extra people getting in. Or send me an email at CarolinaCatChronicles@gmail.com. Make sure in the email you include hashtag C3 Afterparty. And we'll put you in a drawing at the end of the month for a Brian Burns jersey. Oh, don't give him that ammo.
I'm just saying, like, you should probably embrace that. In her mind, at least.
Is Connor asleep yet? Because I'm going to say something really crude.
Yeah.
Hey, your hair looks so delicious.
Oh, hey, man, I know.
All right.
Hey, I got that wavy brown gravy.
Here we go. This is the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. We were supposed to push we're going to have a fundraiser drive with the Bozeman Foundation and on the bye week We will push this hard on Thursday, but we are, I won't say partnering. This is not for us. And I was collaborating. That's a good one. I was very clear, I felt like, or very strong or articulate when I was talking, when we were speaking to them. And thank you, Greg, for coming up with these ideas and really putting this into motion. But I said that I don't want this to be about our show. I don't want this to be something where it's like quid pro quo, and those are the exact words I used, to where we're doing this because we're going to get something out of it. Right. What we're trying to do is going to start a new tradition on the C3 Panthers podcast on the bye week, and we're going to use the bye week as an opportunity and to just do something. You guys do a lot for us as fans, and what we're going to do, well, actually, we're going to ask you guys to do it too. And that is we're going to just support a Panther foundation. We're going to, whether they want us to or not, we're going to find a Panther player funded organization, or not funded, charity organization, and we're going to have some fun on the bye week. We'll do some trivia games and some things like that. So we'll have a bye week episode in place of the post game show. And we're not even going to take the money. We don't want you to give us the money. We're going to give you avenues to give it directly to them. And the Bozeman's have been so cool with the Panther Nation, and we've liked them a lot, just as we've been fans of Bradley and stuff like that. We felt like it was a cool starting point. So look for news on that on Thursday. We're not good at promotion, obviously. Gosh, we're not good at making these conversations go faster. We're not good at making this podcast shorter. We're good at building a good community, and I don't know what we're good at. We're good at just being fans. But now it's time for the longest running segment on the longest running podcast, on arguably the longest podcast of the season. This isn't actually the longest one. We're close to it.
No,
though.
we did 4 hours the other week.
I know. But this is the Ice Up segment where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up to get it together. It's our homage to Steve Smith, who some of you think should be the head coach, the interim head coach of the Carolina Panthers instead of Jeff Saturday in that case. Cody, take us into these Ice Up picks.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
This is the time where we ice up somebody, and it is politics season, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of you had some political ice ups. But this is the one point of the show where we say, and look, we have no rules on this show. We do whatever the hell we want. Mm-hmm. It's just fans being fans. But this is the one point where we open it up. It can be about football. It can be about ourselves. I mean, I feel like I should just ice up Cody at this point, but
oh, too hot.
Too hot. Just melt the ice. Melt the ice.
That's right.
Ice somebody up, bro, please.
Do y'all have one that y'all want to go?
No, I want you to go first because I got 90. Okay. No.
I'll say, can I go first real quick so I can make that Bozeman Foundation thing real quick? I'm just gonna ice up real quick. Everybody who is like going nuts and crazy about this Elon Musk Twitter thing.
Ooh, okay. Love this one. I'm with you on this.
So listen, so like Elon Musk has jokingly said $20 for people who are blue check verified, and then it says, okay, I'm gonna bring it down to $8. The $20 was a joke. He's never gonna ask that much. Bring that to $8. Okay. I first want to start out by saying that there's a reason you're blue check certified. It's because you don't want somebody impersonating you. If you don't want somebody impersonating you, it's more than likely because you're a famous or well-known person. Generally, when that's the case, you probably make a lot of money. And you've probably made money from Twitter that's been free to you the entire time you've been doing it. Okay? So asking $8 for this is no more than asking for what a streaming service would be. Now, that being said, 0.02% of people on Twitter are blue check certified.
I love this one.
So everybody's making a huge deal about 0.02% of people being asked to pay $8 to keep this service running. Because guess what? This is a business. They have employees. They have to pay bills. They have to pay wages. Okay. So for everybody who's out there saying that the rich need to pay more, what Elon Musk is asking the rich to do, or not everybody who's blue check certified is rich, but more than likely you are making good money, is asking them to do is pay $8 to keep this service going. I'm not done yet, though. Okay. Because it's not only keeping the service going, but the reason why these sites you have are free, not sites, social media services, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all these are free, is because they sell your information to people. That's how they pay for themselves. So realistically, everybody could pay $1 or $2 a month, everybody, and probably less than that if everybody did it, for any of the services they have, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff, and your information would not be sold. There's no more robocalls. There's no more spam text or emails. All this stuff is gone.
All these girls trying to say they know, hi, hey.
Exactly. That's how they make their money. So guess what? All these people say they want the rich to pay. The rich are going to pay with this $8. And if you don't want to, guess what? You don't have to. And you can still use Twitter for free. It's not a problem. So everybody freaking out about this. And I have a bunch of people who are saying, well, Twitter's not going to be running in 6 months.
Free speech.
I'm going to get off Twitter
free speech.
if this happens. First of all, you're not going to get off Twitter because it's probably one of the only reasons that you're in the spot you're in right now is because of free Twitter. So you're not going to get off it. And second of all, do you really think Elon Musk, who is smarter than almost anybody that walks up to him and tries to tell him something, is going to buy a business and bankrupt it right away? Like, seriously, use your brain. This is not a big deal. It's 0.02% of people who are blue check certified. We're sending billions of dollars to award another country that has nothing to do with us. And people are worried about 0.02% of people paying $8 a month for this. It's ridiculous. So everybody who's like that with Twitter, ice up, man. In 6 months, when nothing has changed for you at all, and you're still on Twitter, come talk to me.
I got to follow up on this for 1 second. Me too. I think, first, I agree with you 100. As someone who is not blue check certified, I tweeted this out, and I love when my best tweets never get any traction.
Not the same way for me.
Right. It's like my best tweet was this, is like, I'm so happy to see all these rich people or these proletariats shook over $8 charge of the blue check, and now they got to
write off in your taxes.
They got to join us, the plebes, down on the ground now. Welcome to plebeian world with no check. Right. I also got really mad at AOC about this, who went crazy on this, and really her campaign funds, which are paid by donors and taxpayers. Her paycheck is paid by taxpayers. Her campaigns are paid by donors. She's pissed that she's going to have to pay this $8 that she doesn't actually pay, that we pay for her to pay.
Yes.
And then the other thing, again, is that isn't it wild to see rich people cry about $8?
$8. Yes.
And look, I understand, like, I actually do think there's some legitimacy to the question of pay to play, and that's all it takes to get you certified. And this is actually wild because Elon Musk has gotten very petty on some of this.
Yeah, but
where like so Kathy Griffin, who I don't like Kathy Griffin at all. Like she goes, but she does take an edgy joke really far.
Well, she impersonated him, right? She made an account impersonating.
She had her account. No, she had her account. It says, and I can actually show it to you. This is what here. This is actually what it is, and this is what. So it's not an impersonate. I mean, it kind of is, but it's kind of not. So the @ is still Kathy Griffin. But you can change, people change their name up there all the time to like ridiculous stuff like white chocolate espresso.
Think about that. Technicality. That's
right.
Walking
and
a really
so
fine line right there.
She turns her little, like you can edit that profile name, but your tag always stays the same. And this was actually a cool, it does show where if you're paying to try to be like a legitimate source, here's the thing, folks, is that a lot of people with blue checks are illegitimate, period. That's the other thing that we got to think about this. And I agree with you, Greg, is that at the end of the day, we're talking about the most whiniest people in the world.
Yeah.
The whiniest people in the world. Imagine if Elon Musk came in to a restaurant and, you know, he have, and I am a cheap ass. I'm a cheap motherfucker. Right. But sometimes like we go somewhere and I want to split a plate. We're not that hungry. And I'm looking on the menu to see if there's a $2 charge to split a plate. Imagine if Elon Musk got mad about the $2 charge to split a plate.
Dude, he is the most humble rich man.
No, he's ridiculous. I actually disagree. I think he's starting to hit ridiculous mode.
Oh, go ahead and look up his house and everything else, dude. I'm telling you, this guy.
I think he's hitting ridiculous mode. Supposedly, he is unblocking himself from people who have blocked him. Which is awesome. It's mass unblocking Elon Musk. He's like a Twitter autocrat now.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just that's all I gotta say about it. It's just, like I don't feel sorry for AOC or Brady Quinn or David Tepper. If you don't want the fucking blue check, then don't have the blue check.
Yeah, you don't have to have it.
I am more concerned that they would put a paywall for Twitter in general, which I think would destroy Twitter.
Yeah, they won't do that.
Yeah, I don't think
Elon Musk will not drive this company into the ground. Look at I'm telling y'all, do you think this guy's really going to spend that much money in this company and then it not be running? Come on, man. Let's be smart.
I want him to do this, actually. Someone told me that he should, he overpaid for this business, which I kind of understand where they're coming from on fundamental.
People a lot of money.
Well, I understand where they're coming from on some of the fundamentals, but I owned about 10 shares of Twitter stock, which I don't own anymore because they paid me out, right? They bought your stock out. But at one point it was up to $65 a share. So when people say he overpaid at 44, I think that's a recency bias, number one. And number two, I think if I was Elon Musk, I kind of want him to just, what if he just took $44 billion? He's got enough money. Right? Well, isn't he got over $100 billion or whatever? Look, he's worth more than that. He's what if he just shut down? I think it would be cool if he just closed Twitter.
No.
And just ate. What if he just ate $44 billion and just said, fuck all y'all rich?
And think about this.
Wouldn't that be the biggest dick move in the history of the world? That's what I would do.
Here's my thing. I love, there's a couple of things that I loved about this. And Cody, I know you wanted to say something, so I'll let you go here. I just wanted to point this out. Elon has no problem just being a sarcastic asshole. When AOC said that, his first response was, I appreciate your feedback. Now pay me $20.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and he should be, dude.
And fuck her, man.
Yes.
I used to kind of like her in some ways, but she's gotten, once she did that fake arrest picture.
Yes.
I'm done with her.
That was my eyes up.
That was when I got done. I got done with that bitch when she fake handcuffed herself.
So, look, I actually take pride in moving everything away from politics. I used to be heavily involved in politics. Now,
I'm on hills.
Give a fuck.
I'm kind of with you, Cody. I didn't vote today.
Hey, dude,
I didn't
let
vote.
the world burn. I might never vote again. How about that? Or if I'm some enemy of the state.
Oh, you can't complain, though. Oh, you can't complain.
I don't.
Yes, you do. You complain about everything.
No, I fucking don't. Dude,
and you can complain. If I went and voted Libertarian for everything and none of my candidates won, I might as well not have voted.
Listen, America always gets the president that it deserves. I'm not going to vote for any of these pre-approved corporate fat cats on both sides, Republican or Democrat.
So if you see somebody you like, you won't vote?
Now, I'll listen to all y'all for 30 fucking minutes. The left wing and the right wing are connected to the same eagle, controlled by the same fucking head. It's a goddamn sham. I don't give a fuck what anyone says, bro. You know what else is really hard to determine what someone is saying?
It was never meant to be ruled by two parties.
I've never gave him applause.
It's really hard to understand someone when they don't know how to ask a good question. And we have had to, we've interviewed a lot of people on the C3 Panther Podcast at this point, and we have gotten good at asking questions. In fact, we have gotten a lot better than some people who are paid to ask head coaches questions. I have no other further examples other than this one right here. Prepare yourselves. It's very dumb.
Coach, at 9-0, you're undefeated, and obviously so far it's been a perfect season, if you will. But if you look at a team like this, would you consider this if you were looking at a team like this, is the team a work in progress? I mean, do you think that there is something that this team needs to?
Is this the guy that he already made a fool of once?
I'm asking, is this a team that is looking for the right for answers in terms of is this a team that you're looking for the
you talking about? You got me lost, man, dog.
I love Dion, bro.
Forgive me, Coach.
No, you good. Are you talking about us?
Yes.
Or Alabama?
I'm asking you if.
Bro, you know it's bad when someone has to interrupt and be like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Tyler is right. That guy is so nervous. Dude, it's like I'm icing him up, but I also feel bad for him. That guy had prepared 1,000,000 times in his head what he was going to say and
I don't think he did.
I think
and then just got to the moment.
I don't think he did. I don't think he knew what he was asking.
Just word vomit of the mouth, man. Dude, come on. That was your moment. You messed it up, man. And now you look like a dumbass on the internet. Come on, bro.
Thank God they didn't show his face.
But ice up, son.
Who brought up? Was it you? Who was the one that brought up the last one with Dion? Was that on this show or did my friend do that?
No, it was on this show because it was the guy that refused to call him coach.
Or the guy?
Yeah.
It was no. You haven't seen that? There was another one just 2 weeks ago where it was a black guy asking him. And he goes, so he starts asking him. He's like, hello, and then he goes, hey. He goes, wait a second, stop. You weren't talking like that before we were on camera. Ask me normal or something. And then he brings it and he's like, I thought I would. And then he does it again. He was like, was that normal? And this guy, I mean, he just fucking are you pulling it up? I hope Cody's pulling it up because this one, please say you got it, Cody. This one is, my boy showed it to me at the Pirate Radio. That's what it is. If you, CK, you're going to love this is incredible.
Yeah, I haven't seen
and it makes that one look, actually, I would say Dion, I'm surprised he waited that long. Once he said, do you think you're a work in progress? He should have said, I'm 9-0, bro. Like, shut up. Wait until you see this last guy. I hope, Cody. All right, you pull it up, Cody. We're going to come back to it. We're coming back to it. We have to listen to it. It's that good.
Yeah, I want to see it.
This is my ice up pick. And I have so many every week sometimes, but I'm only going to do this one. So I am a sucker for hoes on the internet, it turns out. I am, but I'm not going to ever be catfished. I'm too cheap to be catfished, right? But like my TikTok, I'm like, man, I was like, I can't.
Like last words, man. Just be careful.
No, I can't help but look at a pair of boobs occasionally or something. So I always these stories sometimes speak to me. But I saw this one, and it said, "Well, I'm not getting this job," and it looks like someone taking a picture of someone pulling up. There, if we zoom, I'm giving it away. I'm giving it away. So if you look at this, the picture on the screen, it looks like this lady got an email, and it's a picture of her social media profile, or social media, like some sort of Twitter or something, or Instagram, whatever it is. And Like what she's trying to create is I'm not getting this job because they found my social media profile and it's too sexy, too sensual, whatever. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, which is true, folks. If you're trying to get jobs, they do look you up on Facebook, Instagram. Like, they look your names up. So be careful what you say, right? Well, what's great about this is someone in the comments are always the best. If someone says, why does it say edit profile in the picture? So what this girl did was stage this entire, which everything on the internet is fake. Yeah. 98% of the shit on the internet is fake. So this girl staged this entire picture with her friend, acting like she was going to this job. She didn't get this job because they checked her social media. Well, it turns out she staged all this because she sent this email. There's no way someone has an edit profile button
for somebody
in
else's
the email.
profile.
And then here is the next reply, which
That's pretty
says,
clever by her, to be honest.
Wait,
That was
it's
on her?
fine. It's fine.
That was what was on her profile.
No, but this is the next reply. So she
All right,
said
you
that I
gotta-
didn't
hold
get
on.
this job.
Tony, you've got to describe what we just saw, because Tony,
For listeners.
because Joey the Blind Panther is not going to be able to see that.
Oh, and he would like.
And
this
you
more
know
than
that
ever.
Joey
Oh,
wants
Joey
to know
wants to
about
know this
this.
one. All right, so what we're looking at is a tweet from this person, and actually, Joey, you should go ahead and follow her. It's at I used to be a duck, and her name is Steph. She does not have a blue check. She's not paying the $8, but Joey, she would be happy if you paid her $8. So it's this picture of this girl looking at a computer screen, and it says, the tweet says, I'm not getting this job, and it looks at her profile. So it's like she's not getting this job because she's looking at her social media information. And someone says, well, why the hell is there an edit profile button up there? Well, clearly this girl sent this picture in this email to her friends and staged this entire picture. The next reply is the most giant set of, well, not the most giant set, but a
She got some double D's, I'll tell you that much.
there's a beautiful set of jugs in the next.
The words perfection come to mind. Yeah.
And it says this, and the answer is, so she replied to her own tweet, and it says, I guess I'll keep this. And then she posted her OnlyFans.
Dude, that's good advertisement, man.
It is, but I'm icing this up. I'm icing up all of us who believe that anything on the internet
is real.
Yes, it's faux. In fact, I don't. Guess what? Her boobs are even fake.
Who cares?
Are you sure?
Well, I don't care about that. I have no problem with that, but I will not pay for boobs on the internet. I'm sorry. Sorry, there's too many free ones.
Because they sell you information.
Too many free ones.
The tooth fairy is fake. Them tits are real.
Somebody said this. Look, everybody's going into this. They're like, and then look at how many idiot people are like, oh man, that's messed up. That's messed up. And then when someone says this guy says, why it say edit profile? And I was like, thank you, motherfucker. Like for getting us. And then some girls try, and this is what's best is when people try to defend. They're like, oh no, but they're like, oh God.
But by the way,
I don't have a
believe
problem
those
with
are
any
fake.
of this. What I
I
have,
don't think they were fake, by the way. I'm just saying. I
Oh,
know
they're
it was
too-
my-
they're
I mean, I don't
totally
know. We'll
I
debate
can
that
give
later.
you more
Hey.
ice. Do you have
hang
the?
Yeah.
Please
Wait,
say you have
did-
this, Dion.
hang on.
It's so good.
Okay, did you do your ice up?
No, not yet.
Okay, do yours and then I'll play this final part.
It's so good.
So mine is going to be real quick. I wanted to do one. It wasn't an ice up, but it was just a really funny TikTok video of this little. It's a cat that has something wrong with it, but it looks jacked. It looks like a giant, it's got like these buff shoulders and buff legs and everything. And the comments on it, it's like a legit like issue. Like its life was in danger. But in this, like the creator was trying to make this sad vibes. The comments, all they are like, "What's your pre-workout?" Like, well, oh man, how much can you lift, bro? And then when they called it a kit bull. Instead of anyway, I can't bull. Anyway, but nonetheless, so mine is going to be, I'm sure everybody's gotten the generic and the most everybody's doing it the right way with the go out and vote, right? Go vote, go vote, go vote, which I respect that. I also respect people who choose not to because of, feeling as though it doesn't matter, or, what have you. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't feel obligated or even offended by what people are voting for, right? You shouldn't dictate to people what they're supposed to vote for. This goes for every side. This goes to parents who are trying to dictate to their children what they should be voting for. This is friends who are telling, or people who are social media influencers. To go out there and tell people to go vote for a specific candidate or for this specific thing or for this specific thing, you can pledge your support for it, but to basically demand people go and vote the same way you do is a complete disregard of what democracy is. And so if you were to tell me to go vote for the things that I believe in, I would respect you 10 times more. I have no respect for anybody who's going to try to tell me that I need to go vote for something in particular because of where I live, because of what my family believes, or because of what place I work and how that's going to impact that. Right? It's just not something that I'm ever going to be interested in. And the moment you tell me to do that, I'm going to lose all respect for you right out of the gate. So for those people and the many videos that I have seen online of parents getting pissed off at, kids because they voted Democrat, or Democrat parents getting pissed off at their kids because they voted Republican, I'm going to ice up all you fools. Ice up.
So, because I always find what Tony asked.
This shit is so good, bro.
Head football coach, Coach Prime. Coach, how you feeling today?
No, straight up.
I always ask how you feeling.
You was not talking like that just 2 minutes ago. Can you do the interview? Can you come in like you normally sound?
I just want to be clear and concise.
And professional?
Yes, sir.
So being you is not professional?
Well, I mean, I can't say, hey, what's up, Cole? I can't do that.
I ain't asked you to do that. I just want you to be you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Oh, it gets worse.
I don't.
Right.
All right. Joining me is Jackson State Coach Prime. Is that the same?
Dog, it's the same. Like, just be you. Just try your best to be you.
Okay. All right. I thought I was doing that. But anyway, I want to just ask you.
Who's wrong here, though, is the question.
See, like, if I say, man, what's up, Rob J? That's me. What's up, Rob J? You know the difference? Did you see the difference? That's what you do.
That's a opinion.
And I don't know who you're trying to be out there, but I just want you to try your best.
Rewind it a little bit, Cody. Go back to the one point where he said, I thought I was doing that.
What's up, Roger?
Here, and let's explain it to Greg a little bit. Hold on.
Just be you. Just try your best to be you.
Okay. All right.
I thought I was doing that. That's the best part. All right. So, Greg, what happens is Dion is saying this. He's like, we were just talking 2 seconds ago, and now you're putting on professional face.
But what's wrong with that? He's in a professional
right, and
job.
he said, "I know." Well, this is what's wild about it is that in the beginning he makes him feel uncomfortable about it. But y'all thought this guy with the word salad dude was nervous. This is what I want to know: is this the same guy? Like that's what I really want to know. Rewind it 30 more seconds because when he restarts for him, bro, is that he goes, okay. And here's the thing is he defers to Dion here. He gets shook. But my man looks at, he goes, oh, that's what I thought I was doing. And then, no, it gets better.
I
thought I was. Hold on.
Anyway,
let's go here one more time. This shit's so great.
Try your best to be you.
Okay. All right. I thought I was doing that. But anyway, I want to just ask you, you feeling okay?
See, like, if I say, man, what's up, Rob J? That's me. What's up, Rob J? You know the difference? Did you see the difference?
What is
That's what you do.
Look at
and I don't know who you're trying to please.
No, wait.
I just want you to try your best to be you.
Gets worse. Yeah, okay.
All right. How you feeling today?
Much better. I feel good.
I mean, my man.
Dude. So who are we icing up there? That's what I want to know.
No, we were icing up the other guy earlier, but that one.
You could ice up Dion there, man. Come
No.
on, dude.
Yes, dude.
For real. I mean, seriously.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, but the other
guy
guy shouldn't have.
He
should have just pushed back.
and he wasn't
Dion,
even doing that.
yeah, well, correct. I think the other guy. I think
He
the other guy.
and he
could have
looked
had a
at
little
the
more
camera and
backbone.
he goes, "Oh shit!" Like my man said, I thought that's what I was doing.
You know what?
That
You know
was
what would
the
be same
best
thing?
shit.
That would be like if Deion Sanders lost a game. Seriously, it'd be like if Deion Sanders lost a game and the reporter walked up to him and be like, "So, you guys just weren't playing good enough today, man. Like, why didn't you do a good enough job? What's going on? Like, how come you couldn't coach to win today?" And like, that's basically what Deion was doing.
I know.
right there.
Bro,
You know,
Dion
it's like, dude,
was
what the
being
fuck,
a
man?
dick. I'm not lying. I
So
understand. Y'all are right. Dion was a dick.
Here's my thing on that too, and I know we gotta wrap this up. We've been going for so fucking long.
So awesome. I'm having too much fun.
Right. So like when you pair this up with the other ones that we've seen with Dion, him getting mad at the reporter for not calling him coach, like how are you going from getting mad at a reporter for not being professional enough to going and getting mad at a reporter for not being himself enough? Like the dude is so ass backwards, and quite honestly, it's becoming I think people are on Dion's side here because Dion is Dion, and I think that he gets a celebrity
he's
benefit.
always been Dion is Dion, right?
And he gets a celebrity benefit, and like it's sort of like, well, it's Dion, it's Dion, so that's funny, it's really cool, but it's not. That's fucked up. That dude, that's gonna be something that he was awkward, and I guarantee you, his blood was boiling. Like
or he was just embarrassed as fuck and nervous.
blood
But
was
here's what
boiling.
the reason I had Cody play that is because you guys played the word salad guy, and I think Dion was nice to him.
I think he was nice.
Like I mean, the guy said, "Do you think you guys need to find an identity? Do you need to improve?" He said, "You're 9-0. Do you guys think you need to? Do you know who you are? Do you?
I think I know what he was
said.
trying to say.
9-0. What I'm saying is, you played a more recent clip of a guy who was bumbling and fumbling and nervous, and Dion was. I thought that's patient, Dion. You want to see asshole Dion? It's this good. He's like, now start again.
Takes the mic from him.
So what?
Oh my God! It's
that
so
other
awesome.
reporter. I'll say this much: I guarantee you. You said you didn't think he was preparing. I guarantee you, he had the perfect question in his mind. And the problem is, he got halfway through it and he messed up what he was trying to say, and he started to fumble and tried to go back and like try to make it sound the way that he remembered it, and it just went all that he was. And the only reason I know, I have done that so many times in my life that I know exactly what that is. And so I think what he was asking Dion there is, you're 9-0. Talk to me about what you see as areas of improvement on your team, as opposed to bumbling and bumbling through. Do you think
your
you're
identity, who you are? It's terrible. I'm saying that was nice, Dion. Dion has matured over 2 weeks.
Sure.
Hey,
Dion, that was nice.
Dion's a great coach. I don't want.
Well, we don't know. We also just know this is Dion just probably gets great players. And if you guys if you want to watch something fun, is go watch the video of Dion being announced as the Jackson State coach. And my man rides up in a limo, has like a parade. It's fucking over the top and awesome. The whole reason I asked Cody to play that was I thought Dion was remarkably patient with a guy who made the most ridiculous question, while this other guy was like, "Hey, coach, how you doing today?" And he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?
You weren't talking to me like that 5 minutes ago."
I know that moment. And this guy was so shook, bro.
Yeah.
He said, "I thought that's what I was doing." And he looked at the camera all nervous. It was awesome. All right. Anyway, I think part of the reason that this podcast goes on forever is because you're my best friends, guys.
No, dude, we haven't done that for like weeks, right?
What?
Oh, we haven't.
Yeah, like
Oh.
it was.
Picks.
I think
the Falcons are.
And I missed a week.
No, I think the Falcons are winning. I think the Falcons are winning.
We can pick the game. Yeah, I think the Falcons are winning too. Oh,
and I don't. I really just want to pick the Panthers every week, but sucks.
before we leave, I do want to mention C336 get together Thursday night. It's 2 days away. Vintage Sofa Bar, downtown Winston-Salem. I know.
Way to go on the promotion, Greg. 1248.
Yeah. I'll cut this out and put it in later, or put it in a short. But check us out if you're interested or in the area, or if you want to travel. We're gonna watch the game there. Who knows where it goes from here? Maybe we start a C3 chapters in different areas. We'll see what happens. But it's gonna be a fun time with some C3 fans, and I know I'll be there, and it'll be fun. Get together. Maybe. All right,
it's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. The C3336 at the Vintage Sofa Bar, watching the Thursday night blackout you wish was blacked out party. We'll be there, and Greg's going to be there. That's awesome that Greg's been really pushing behind the scenes and making a lot of things happen for C3, and I thank you for that on air, and I will thank you behind the scenes. Other than that, I want to say this is, people, if you're still listening, poll questions, who was right, Tony, message us, man, hit us up on Twitter and the chat. Look, on the YouTube chat or wherever you get us at, wherever you're at, who was right in the arguments tonight, Tony or Cody is one. Are those boobs fake or are they real is another one.
That's a good poll. Yeah.
Do you not like fake boobs? Do you like fake boobs? I've never touched them, so I don't know.
We're going down a rabbit hole.
No,
here.
Number 3 is what else is, I feel like we have a couple of questions that need to be solved by the audience. Was Dion is Dion becoming responsible or not? Who's the coach and pair? My name's Tony Dunn. Follow me at @cat_chronicles on Twitter. We'll be here Thursday night, even though Cody's going to probably message me and be like, it's so late. Do we have to do that? And I'll be like, bro, you don't even get up till 12.
Dude, what? So now you're just talking.
Oh, I know. I'm mad at you. I'm throwing bullets at you. You're catching strays for the rest of your life.
I do notice when I send text at 6 o'clock in the morning, nobody responds for 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, okay.
Oh, I got to take my son.
Tony sends text at 3:30 in the morning. So
I do.
Yeah.
And I also have to take my son, because I'm ridiculous. I also have to take my son to. I should have iced my son up. I'm icing myself up for encouraging my son to join the swim team 2 months ago, and he actually did it. And that means I got to take him to swim practice at 6 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday every week.
Hardest
and
sport I ever did. Hardest sport I ever did.
Stupid. Why was I doing?
I'm telling you.
All right. We'll be here tomorrow night. I'll be here. I hope my bitch ass wife or my baby brother, whichever one you want to call.
By the way, you're always the reason.
Specify that before we go live.
By the way,
you're married.
You're always the reason that the podcast goes extra long.
That is true.
If I'm that, you're at least that.
Totally true. Totally true. Cody Lack, how can they not follow you?
You can follow the actual voice of reason on this here podcast, C3 Cody Lack at Twitter. You see me right there, man. Follow me at drafttech.com. And yeah, I'll be here every Friday at 7 p.m. See, that's why I'm used to dealing with Tony, because I'm used to dealing with 10 different people in there at a time every Friday at 7 p.m. Tony to me, bro, that's absolutely nothing. Every Friday at 7 p.m., you can join the show, make your opinion heard. And because I'm not done debating everyone, I'm going to be debating Monty from 4-Man Rush this Sunday on the channel at 5 p.m., man. So that ought to be fun. Aaron from Dunk on Demand is going to be the guest moderator. It's going to be fun, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. That's it.
CK, obviously you're playing that Modern Warfare. What are we going to do? Can we squeeze in the Madden simulation tomorrow night?
That's what I'm wondering. I guess we could talk a little bit when we get done here, but that's the game plan, is to maybe try to see if we can get that in tomorrow night.
Can you do 9 or 9:30?
Yeah.
All right.
That was my
tell me. You message us the time. I'll be there. I already planned this out. Tomorrow night we've got the beat check at 8 o'clock. Hopefully we're going to land Joe Person at 8:30. So follow at Codizzle Allen on all the social medias.
Yeah, and you'll hear the voice of Logic on the podcast, yeah,
or at least a pretty voice.
The voice of Logic. And so you can find me Codizzle Allen on most social media platforms, and mainly here on the C3 Panthers podcast. But yeah, tomorrow night, Madden Simulation.
Greg, I feel like Peripheral episode number 3 is the most important episode. I feel like I'm going to have to go back and watch it again because I think that's the pivot point in the show. Anyway, tell us where they can find your work.
Yeah, man, you can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. I also do a show, Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse.
So good, folks. You got to check it out.
I appreciate that, man. We go live every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, but we're actually going on Saturday this week because this Friday, all of the geeks are going to go see Black Panther 2, which we'll be covering on Saturday along with Andor, Titans, Peripheral, and we have guest Phoebe coming on with her comic, Superliminal Latency. So,
Joey, Black Panther forever. Wakanda for life. Can't wait to see. It's going to break every record, isn't it, Greg?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure it will. Like, there's going to be... I'm not going to say the movie's going to be great. I think it's going to be a good movie because I enjoyed the first one, and I think this one looks really good. But no matter what this movie does, it's going to break records because people are going to want to go see it.
They're dying for
to see how they do Chadwick Boseman as well.
Yep.
I'm assuming there's going to be some crazy tribute.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Because remember, he's not there. So, and they had to rewrite this whole thing without him being there. So everybody wants to see how they're going to handle that. And I'm not putting any opinions out there till Saturday. Come check us out. But I think it's going to be a good movie. I don't.
One more time, low key in the audience is asking, Geeks Chasing Squirrels Through the Multiverse. Tell them just briefly what this podcast is, because if you're into stuff that we are, that's not sports, this is the podcast for you.
Oh, yeah. It's basically kind of like a pop culture podcast, man. We cover everything. We cover books. We cover television shows. We cover movies. Like right now we're doing Titans, Peripheral, Andor. We cover everything Star Wars, everything Marvel, everything DC. And then, different kind of stuff on top of that. Like we did Rings of Power. We do movie
House
reviews.
of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon. Yeah, like we cover a little bit of everything. Basically, we try to take a lot of the top shows that are kind of within a fantasy action genre,
sci-fi, yeah.
and sci-fi genre. Yeah,
it's a nerd podcast.
It's a nerd podcast, exactly.
And I love it. I'm a nerd. Yeah. I'm a nerd. So, low key, really go check it out.
But it's based a lot on this show. It's fans who are not experts having a good time talking about things they love. So,
wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Cody Lack, take us out of here.
C3 Panther Nation. Until next time. Tony don't know shit.